I get it.
What
Yeah.
world?
I mean, come on. You're about to, you can, I don't know if you know this, Kevin, but you can die on an airplane.
Really?
Yeah, when they fall out of the
Then
sky.
you should probably never go on one.
The whole, not in one that's not 100% safe,
Well, they
I'll tell you that.
they're not leaving until it's 100%.
How do I know?
If they're going to tell you something that's going to scare you, but you don't have a choice of backing out,
Yeah.
don't tell me. It's like that commercial.
Why is that scary?
It's like that commercial.
We're going to make sure everything's perfect, and then we're going to leave. That's scary!
Yeah, well, it's like the commercial where this surgeon comes in, the guy's about to have surgery, and right as they're wheeling him in, he goes, "Guess you got reinstated." It's like, well, not officially.
What was that from? Was that a
Insurance
Holiday
commercial?
Inn or something?
Holiday Inn something, yeah. He's like, "Guess who got reinstated?" Well, not
Ah.
officially, but it's close.
Well, I made it. I think I got back to my place about 1:30, so.
Which is like normal for you. You're a
I don't,
night
not
owl.
now I don't. Not doing this show.
This sunrise.
But I
10
love
a.m. morning
how
show.
we're all, we have this text thread. We have 17 different text
Oh, my
threads
God.
with
There's 3 text
17
threads.
different
There's
people on it.
There's the
Twitter.
Twitter. There's the,
Oh,
the,
God.
the Google Doc that some of us never read.
So I
Yeah.
don't know if I think it was Kevin who said, "Hey, traffic is jacked up. I'm going to be late." And Amy said, "Yes, me too. And I'm only 15 minutes away, but traffic is jacked up.
Yeah.
There are all kinds of wrecks." And I go, "I'm tired. I did not want to leave earlier. So I'm also going to be late."
Yeah.
And that's what happened today. And I think there are a lot of people who can identify with, "I'm tired. I didn't feel like leaving the house earlier today."
Mm-hmm.
And not making up an excuse. "Oh, the traffic sucks." Nope. I just didn't feel like leaving earlier.
I even had to take an alternate route.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
Liars.
There's a lot on 70 today. It was brutal. There's 70 all the way out by me, and then there's another one by the airport, and then there's another one downtown by Tucker. It was brutal.
I need to
And then
apologize.
Tucker itself was brutal.
I need to apologize to Alex. Alex was waiting for his drink at Starbucks. He ordered ahead. I'm sure he was in a hurry. And his drink looked like my drink. And I saw the A and I took his drink. And then I realized as I was about to go out the door that I took Alex's drink. So I brought it back. And the barista said, "It left the counter. We have to remake Alex's drink."
Mhm.
So, Alex, if you showed up and your drink wasn't ready, I'm really sorry.
Who the hell is Alex?
He's the guy's drink that I took, or
Oh.
the girl's drink that I took. So I'm really sorry. I brought it back, but they, baristas are vigilant and safe. So they had to throw it out because I took it.
That was nice of them.
But if Alex was in a hurry, you know what I mean? Like waiting to, he ordered ahead. He was going to rush in, grab his drink and go to a very important meeting. And he's thinking, why is my drink not ready?
That was his excuse for being late to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, because some
He could
dummy took my coffee.
Yep.
I'm really sorry, Alex.
Which, by the way, is such an amazing thing. And I know people listening have had this experience or know an office mate who shows up late and says, I sorry, all this stuff happened, but they show up with a full coffee from Starbucks.
Yes. I'm that person.
Full
My
coffee.
sister's that person.
Me too.
You're that person.
I do that too. Guys, I'm going to be late. I got to make a quick stop first.
Now we know. All right, coming up, we got a busy show. Later on, we're going to tell you about a project in St. Louis that's going to help veterans. We're going to tell you about a tech topic that you need to be paying attention to. Obviously, we've got more coming your way. Stephen A. Smith in the 1 o'clock hour. Up next, we're going to tell you about what the Cardinals can do tonight as they take on the Milwaukee Brewers. They can clinch. That's the hint. And then bottom of the hour, if you want to throw us some info on the text, 314-436-7900. Does a business's politics influence whether or not you're going to shop there? That's coming up at 10:30. Cardinals next on the show.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to The Dave Glover Show and all the news, talk, sports, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
Are you concerned about outliving your money? Well, how would you like to have guaranteed growth and a lifetime of income you may never outlive? Join me, Ben Coons, for the Retirement and Income Radio Show, heard here every Saturday at 3 p.m. on KMOX Radio. You can also call me now for your complimentary retirement and income book at 844-513-SAFE. That's 844-513-7233.
Goodwill and St. Louis Union Station have teamed up to take you under the sea and over St. Louis. When you donate a car, running or not, you can receive 4 tickets to the St. Louis Union Station's aquarium and wheel. Donating a car to Goodwill is quick and easy, and towing is free. Plus, you'll get a good feeling from donating to a charity that does so much in our community. For more information, visit mersgoodwill.org.
furnace funky?
Then make one call.
And Jerry Kelly will be there the very next day.
Call anytime, 8 to 8, 8 days a week.
And Jerry Kelly will fix your furnace or install a new one the very next day.
JerryKelly.com. Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. For about 25 years, I've been a patient at Ophthalmology Associates, the home of the doctor's doctors, Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andrew Royer. Also, my wife and kids and sister are also patients there for their eye care. After all, these doctors have 3 convenient locations, an excellent, experienced staff, the latest technology, and a modern optical department on location. They're also available for emergency calls. And did you know these doctors treat more doctors than any other practice in St. Louis? They spend a lot of time with their patients. They don't rush you in and out. When you meet them, you immediately realize they care about you and your eyesight, and they're extremely knowledgeable about eye care, and they can answer all your questions. That's why I go to and recommend Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000, yourEyeDoc.com.
Okay, 3 more climbers, 7 loggers.
Ted's sustainably sourced logging company is growing a new branch.
What about truck driver contracts?
Which means a new HR manager will be the first hire to fall.
Then we'll need to staff up the warehouse.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. You're driving along and some nimrod cuts you off. You hit the horn. Jeez, it sounds like a goose in distress. Time to head over to eBay Motors. They have horns for every make and model, not to mention horn pads, steering wheels, wiring, and more. 122 million parts. You can even go for an upgrade. Looks like Mr. Cutoff Man needs a new seat cover. Try eBay Motors, pal. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan, proud customer of Banner Construction. One of the safest investments you can make today is an exterior renovation to your home. And Banner Homes have timeless beauty, striking curb appeal, and ultra-low maintenance. If you take pride in your home, trust it to the team of experts at Banner Construction. Since 1993, my friends at Banner Construction have engineered their projects to go beyond the basic low-cost solutions. You know, that's more than 25 years of experience. And now is the perfect time to call the experts at Banner Construction. They're ready to help. If you're looking for windows, you should know that Banner is a James Hardie Elite Preferred Contractor. James Hardie Fiber Cement Siding has the rich look and feel of wood. And Banner's also a Platinum Certified Pella Window Contractor. Those Pella windows are beautiful, and they come with a 30-year warranty. 314-569-1050 or visit their website, bannerconstruction.com, and make sure you have a banner day.
Work or play, KMOX is right there with you. We go where you go.
All right, Tuesday on the show, Chris Ranji, Amy Marsh, Scores, Kevin Wheeler. First time, well, we've had one, I guess it was Thursday last week we were all together. So now the band is back together for the at least a few weeks.
Isn't it grand?
Until I take off.
Where are you going?
We're going to go up to Chicago for Susan's 50th birthday. Meeting friends, we've got a friend party, a family party, the whole deal.
Happy
When
birthday,
is that?
Susan.
Mid-October.
Mid-October.
When were you going to tell us? Just now?
Yeah, because you're not invited.
Well, that's kind of rude.
Because all three of us
anyway.
can't be gone at the same time anyway.
I mean, we could.
Like, it's
It'd just
possible.
be very difficult for somebody to replace us.
Dude,
Best
we're,
of, baby.
we're irreplaceable.
Hey, best of. We are irreplaceable. What? I don't know.
You're tired. Don't worry. It's okay.
He's a little sleepy.
Yeah.
When is nap time? All right, let's go.
It is at 2:30.
Oh, nice. Cardinals, huh?
Hey, how about them cards?
So tonight can be a clinch. Technically the magic number is 3, but in this case it doesn't matter because if you beat Milwaukee tonight, the best that Milwaukee can do is tie you, and you will have the tiebreaker if you beat them tonight.
Yep.
Because there's no more extra games. They got rid of the game 163 and all of that. I'm glad they did.
I mean, I kind of liked it.
The replacement, though, is a
It's a
three-game
three-game series,
which is
yeah.
better. It's much better that way.
It's better, I guess. But I did like the added drama of not knowing.
I mean,
you're playing this extra game. One team it probably doesn't even matter for. And then, you have to decide if you can even get into the playoffs. I don't know. You're right. I think ultimately having that extra 3-game series is better, but I did like the game 163.
Yeah,
on
but
occasion.
the thing is that, I mean, like, no other sport has that. Like, they don't play an extra game in hockey to break a tie. They don't do it in NBA. They don't do it. Well, they would never do it in football. It's a whole week. So they're just kind of in line with everybody else now. So the point, though, is that the Cardinals can clinch tonight if they beat Milwaukee.
Yeah.
So if they win either of the next 2 games, so they got 2 in Milwaukee, then another day off, and then they come home for the final homestand. And then those last 6 games against Pittsburgh will very likely mean nothing but get things lined up for the postseason, which is a nice place to be. I mean, it's a nice luxury to have where you don't have to worry about burying the back end of the bullpen, as an example, because in the postseason, that really matters. Like, those guys being ready to go. You need them ready every day. There's no, well, Helsley threw 22 pitches yesterday, so he's not available today. It ain't happening in the postseason.
Right.
If you have a lead, your best guys are going to go.
And that's good that they're in this position. And really, they've known for weeks this was going to be them. And it's just a matter of time and a matter of math. And it will occur hopefully tonight. They'll get that figured out. Could be tomorrow. Could be the next day, whatever. But they're going to win this division. They have already probably, and I don't know if you could pinpoint a date. I'm sure it's been gradual, where they've been working toward lining things up the way they want to, giving the rest to guys they want. And also the fact that Albert hit 700, they can sit him and give him some rest whenever they want to. He's gotten to that mark, and I think they are in a really good position to at least put themselves in the best, healthiest position possible going in, which is the most important thing you can do.
I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and that is, I really, really wish we had Polo Asensio on the call for 700, for Albert Pujols' 700. I really enjoy Polo Asensio and the Spanish broadcast. I don't even speak Spanish, but I think I hope that this is moving on from what we were talking about, the playoffs, because Polo will be there. Polo and Benji will be there for home and away games in the postseason. They'll do all the postseason games. It would be cool if they start traveling with the team and do away games too, because I love Polo's call. And if the Cardinals clinch tonight, we won't have that call either. That's my own personal thing that I've been thinking about. I think it's such a great element that the Cardinals have the Spanish broadcast. I think they need it for away games too.
By the way, let me say this. To hell with Rhode Island. Because when I was there...
Wait. Hold on. There's a connection, right?
There's a connection.
Okay.
Because I either this is all places in Rhode Island or just the one that I happened to be at the night Albert hit both. Because if you had the TV on ESPN or one of those networks, they were going to the game, right? Like they were doing the live cut-ins.
Yeah.
Right? I went to the one place that didn't have a TV in it. So, and we were there for a couple hours, and he hit 699, and I saw it because I think somebody texted me, and then got another text. Oh, he just hit 700. I'm like, you're kidding me. So I missed both of them tonight because Rhode Island sucks.
Or because your buddies picked the wrong place.
Oh, my buddies picked the wrong place.
I'm sure Rhode Island has like places with TVs.
No, they have no TVs
Name
there.
a sports team in Rhode Island.
Providence, the college.
You can't do a college.
That's all they have.
There you go. That's why they don't
I
have
think there's
TVs.
minor league baseball there.
Is Pawtucket there, or is that
No,
Massachusetts?
That's Massachusetts. Pretty sure.
There once was a lady from Pawtucket. No, she was from Nantucket.
Oh, my God.
So, you guys want to chime in? 314-436-7900. Does a business's politics play a role in whether you shop there? Talk about it in Experience Ron Chat. Next up.
Changing the weather.
Fall.
Changing the weather.
Weather.
Something's happening here.
Temps turning chillier. Days getting shorter.
Changing the weather.
We'll help you weather the changes. And when severe weather lands, the Air Comfort Heating and Cooling Storm Center will be there for you. The weather, we've got it covered. On St. Louis's News Radio, KMOX.
Hello, this is Chad Clayman with ClaymanGroup.com, KLAMEN Group.com, 314-946-9999. We buy houses direct. If you're thinking about selling, you're not sure where you're going to go, you can sign a contract with us. We are the buyer, and we can provide a flexible closing date for you. Once we've written a contract, we can actually adjust the closing date if you need to move it up or you need to move it back. A lot of people aren't sure where they're going to move next, and we can make it easy on you. ClaymanGroup.com, 314-946-9999, 946, all nines.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Ever wonder what it's like to play in an MLB game? Play Loud is your exclusive look into the fun of the game as we mic up the league's biggest stars and follow them with dedicated cameras both on and off the field. Watch game time reactions to some of the biggest plays and follow your favorite players as they chat in the dugout with their teammates between innings. You never know what you're going to see or hear. It's baseball like you've never watched before. Tune in for new episodes of Play Loud only on the MLB YouTube channel.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Laurie Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
Join us Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for Your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
The World Trade Center St. Louis is hosting its annual Growing Global Luncheon Friday, September 30th at the Ritz-Carlton in Clayton. With the successful launch of direct flights to Europe, Growing Global 2022 will explore international connectivity and the value and impact of connecting our community and businesses in a 21st century global economy. Registration and sponsorships are available at worldtradecenter-stl.com. Reserve your spot now and join us for Growing Global September 30th.
At 10:30, we have sunny skies and 63 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Carol Daniel. Hurricane Ian has been lashing western Cuba with rain and winds as it swirls north toward the Florida coast. The U.S. National Hurricane Center says Ian hit Cuba early today as a Category 3 storm with sustained winds of 125 miles an hour. A series of unusual leaks on 2 natural gas pipelines running from Russia under the Baltic Sea to Germany have triggered concerns about sabotage. The leaks overshadowed the inauguration today of a long-awaited pipeline that will bring Norwegian gas to Poland. Facebook says it's found and disabled a sprawling network of fake accounts that spread Russian propaganda about the invasion of Ukraine throughout Western Europe. A new report shows obesity rates continue to climb among American adults. Trust for America's Health says a decade ago, no state had an adult obesity rate over 35%. Now, 19 states do, including Missouri.
We also are spending about $170 billion a year on healthcare that's related to obesity. We're spending a tiny fraction of that on preventing obesity.
Director of Policy Research, Rhea Faberman, says because obesity is up in every state, it indicates the issue is more than just individual choices. She says more money should be spent on prevention. And a libertarian group in California filing a legal challenge to President Joe Biden's plan for student debt cancellation. Taking a look at the They're cleaning up debris 64 westbound on the ramp from Hanley Road. Be prepared to stop there. There's a stall 70 westbound before Lambert St. Louis Airport Road on the right shoulder. The KMOX forecast, plenty of sunshine, the high 73 degrees. Right now it's sunny and 63 degrees downtown at the Arch. The forecast sponsored by Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyers is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
The listening you love is on the free Odyssey app. Your trusted local radio stations, coverage of your favorite teams, live news from your hometown, and millions of podcasts on demand. Best of all, you can completely customize your listening experience. Follow topics you care about, like leagues and teams. Pause or rewind your local sports and news, and add shows to your queue to catch up later. There's a lot to listen to, so get started and download the free Odyssey app today.
According to Jerry Kelly, early season furnaces are like ball players back at training camp.
We spent the off season getting so out of shape. Guys that snapped something shagging a shallow fly.
Don't throw your furnace in cold. Start heating season with the best tune-up in the game.
JerryKelly.com. Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Tom Ackerman for Building Community with Busey Bank, a podcast series easily accessible at KMOX.com/community banking. This summer, the Little Bit Foundation lost their huge warehouse and headquarters in the flood. It's both a heartbreaking and inspirational story with Busey and the community helping. listen to our September podcast, Building Community with Busey Bank, at KMOX.com/community banking.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at ThrottleNet. These are the genius IT guys that I've been representing for years and years now. We are number one all the time. Best in customer service from Small Business Monthly. Best in cybersecurity, again, Small Business Monthly. We have an average response time. I love this statistic. The average response time in St. Louis in 2020 by IT companies. You have a problem, you reach out to them, hey, I'm all shut down, help me, was 3 hours. If you got back within 3 hours, you were cool. Ours was 1 minute, 57 seconds, and the guys were very unhappy with that. It takes less than 2 minutes for us to address your problems. Here's a huge thing. We are now offering $500,000 in ransom protection to everyone who uses us. This is part of the deal. You don't pay extra for it. So if you happen to be hit and you have to pay, we're going to pay it up to $500,000. Now, this shows you how confident we are because no one under our protection has ever had to pay. Go to throttlenet.com/DGS.
Albert Pujols comes to bat. Cardinals slugger Albert Pujols talks with Tom Ackerman Mondays at 9:50.
He hits a fly ball left field, and it's gone!
Exclusively on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
$10:35 on the show. Chris Ronchi, Amy Mark Scores, Kevin Wheeler with you here. Looking for your participation in this as we go through the segment, and we may get some of the reaction on this a little bit later on as well. But 314-436-7900, 314-944-1120 if you want to use the voicemail instead of the text line. But essentially, we're jumping into this topic of whether or not a business is politics, if you know it, because sometimes you're not going to know. But if you know a business owner's politics, or maybe it's just the case of Ranj, the person that's standing in front of you, having a wide open conversation in public view, whether or not those kinds of things, like your story, play into whether or not you're going to shop at that place.
I flew into Boston, as I mentioned when we opened the show, on Friday. I flew in on Friday, and I had a few hours before I had to take the train to Rhode Island, so I decided to walk around the city. I like Boston. I like the old parts of Boston. I like the historic aspects of the city, and I just like being on the waterfront. I think it's a really cool place. So I decided to walk around a neighborhood I've never been to, and now I can't remember the neighborhood. I walked by this eyeglasses shop, and it's really small, and it's like embedded in this neighborhood, and I like to, on occasion, give business to those places because, it's not like the big box store. It's not like, like they don't have the support of being a big corporation. So I walk in and there's one guy, like there's space for one person to work in there. there wasn't a whole lot of room, but it was in a really, I don't know, it was a good spot to be. It was small, and it was a perfect fall day, like mid 60s in Boston. It was sunny, and the guy within a minute starts talking about the weather, and then he starts talking about how the government, he made a comment about how, the government's doing a good job controlling the weather today. And I laughed about it because I thought he was joking. And then he started to go into it, and I was like, oh, he's serious. Like, he means it. And I was like, I don't know if that's really happening. He's like, well, they can affect the weather. I mean, they are doing that. And I said, okay. All right.
You guys know that's actually been in the news. There are people that are attempting to affect weather to end droughts and things along.
Yeah,
they're
attempting.
Clouds.
Yes.
No, they can do it.
Well, not on a grand scale where you can't
change.
You can't change you can maybe do a little bit here and there.
It's also not the government doing it.
It's not
Although there are governments overseas that are doing the same thing.
Anyway,
Kevin's best friends with this glasses guy.
I know, they were the same. He was about the same age. So it wasn't like he was some 80-year-old weirdo. Like, this dude was I thought he was normal. He was wearing a fedora. Maybe that's a problem. But he's talking about it. And then as he's showing me glasses, he was very nice because I went in to buy a pair of sunglasses.
Yeah.
And he was super nice. And then he starts talking about COVID. And then he says, COVID, you realize, was invented by people who have stock in in companies that make vaccines, and people weren't taking the flu vaccines, so they invented COVID so that they could sell another vaccine because they weren't getting the money they should have been getting from the flu vaccines because people aren't taking them. And I'm like,
So
all
is
right.
he against the government or private enterprise? Because he attacked both.
The
government, the weather.
do
and
these
the,
people ever know?
and the vaccine.
Do they ever know?
Enterprise.
I don't know, but I
Yeah.
thought this guy is an amazing weirdo. But
In a fedora.
these sunglasses are an amazing deal. I'm buying them anyway. And there are times where I feel like, okay, I heard this guy is kind of a weirdo. I don't want to visit his shop. Like, I know that he is, so I kind of want to avoid it. But it's another thing when you're standing in front of somebody, the proprietor of the business, and they're spouting and they're going off. And you're like, you are so weird. I kind of don't want to give you my money. But also, this is a really great price.
great deal.
And you're standing right in front of me. I can't just walk out of here.
Right.
You know? So I went ahead and I bought the glasses and I went about my day. And I wondered how many people, if they were turned, and I was totally turned off by what he was saying. It's just that I thought he was very nice. The sunglasses are nice. And they were at a reasonable price, guys.
It was a
And
great bargain.
Look, I'm not above a bargain.
No.
I'm not above a good deal.
No.
So I went ahead with it.
It's the
And
right
I thought,
choice.
you know what? I'm a good neutral person because I'm giving this guy business anyway, even though he's an absolute wrong weirdo.
It's a
So-
First Amendment right to be a weirdo.
It is.
And to talk
there's,
about it.
There's no law against it.
No.
There's no law against being crazy.
People say I'm a weirdo.
Yeah,
You
you're
say
totally
that. And by
weird.
people, I mean you.
And I would say if you owned a store,
Uh-huh.
it would go out of business, but I would give you business.
Well, especially if she was like there singing Tom Jones.
Oh my God, if you walked in.
See, the politics would not impact
you
me,
work
but that
with
might
me.
make me walk out.
Oh, the singing? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
just that's awful.
Yeah.
But have you ever done that? Have you ever been faced with a situation where you are face to face with the proprietor, the owner of a business, and you're like, you know what, I can't buy from you?
No.
I've never been in that situation either, but I do think it's easier to just not go to a place than to go into it and then abort the mission.
So let's
you know,
say
that's
this, though.
that's tougher to do it that way.
Let me spin it around a little bit. That place is in your neighborhood.
Okay.
You just got a great bargain. You had a good experience.
Would I go back?
Knowing what you know, do you go back for your next pair of sunglasses?
Maybe.
See, okay, here's
Maybe.
the deal.
Because I can tell you, I would. If I was happy with the product and happy
Yeah.
with the price, I'm going back.
I can tell you as, a conservative person. I mean, I grew up in the West County Christian Home Educators, and a lot of companies that I shop at do not have, our values don't align completely, right? I mean, just as a conservative Christian, whatever you want to call it, and a lot of the companies too, if you like fashion, if you like whatever it is, they can be pretty far progressive. And you know what? It's a great product and it's capitalism and I buy the product. And especially if it's like a small coffee shop in a neighborhood, I'm giving them my money. We're all part of the same community at the end of the day.
This and I felt a lot, and I believe when you have this discussion, you can't really have it without talking about the whole Chick-fil-A situation that occurred several years ago, where people did not want to be part of that because of the owner's
Well, okay, he was like traditional beliefs about marriage personally. He didn't discriminate, he wasn't not hiring or not serving people. It
Right.
was his personal belief.
Right. And there was objection to that. And I understand if people felt like they weren't accepted by him, so I'm not going to his store, that's fine if that's what people think. And I don't know, I go there.
Right.
I go to Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, none of those things are going to impact
It doesn't
me, generally
it doesn't bother me. I don't think it's not so egregious that you have to make a statement about it.
I mean, think about this.
But I can understand why some people would.
Right. I'm pro-life, and I would say 99% of the companies I shop at openly give money to Planned Parenthood.
Right.
Right. I mean, that's
Because
just the way it is.
I mean, Planned Parenthood does do a lot of other things that
But
are
they
very
also
important.
do a lot of abortions. I mean, we all know what their stance is. But again, I think if I tried to shop politically, I don't know where I would shop. What's funny is that this is actually both a horrible story and a funny story, but I have to tell it. So I work.
Do we get to decide which one it's more of?
Yes, you can, because it's actually not me. I was working at a shoe store, and a person came in, and this person does not work for the Riverfront Times anymore. This was years ago, but it was a photographer for the Riverfront Times. And I was fitting him for running shoes, and I brought out Nikes. And he said, "Oh, Nikes, because aren't those made with like child labor?" And I'm like, I'm like 23 years old. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I don't hope not. They're Nike shoes. And I said, well, I can bring them back, put them in the back if you want. He said, no, I'll try them on. He's like, but I can't believe, you guys are selling these shoes. So he goes outside and he runs on the sidewalk. He comes back in and he looks at me and sits down. He goes, man, those kids know what they're doing.
Holy crap.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I know. And he bought the shoes. And
My God.
I mean, now we're sitting. Now listen, we're saying
It's not funny.
Yeah, but see,
it's not funny.
But it's hilarious.
We're
It
saying
was a
wow,
true story.
not because he's wrong, because everybody still buys those shoes.
He
People are
said it.
thinking,
Yeah.
I don't care
Yeah.
because I like the shoes.
Yeah.
He just said out
Same
loud
with
what
iPhones.
he
Same
just-
with most of the
Right.
technology you
he
use
just
every
said
day.
out loud what everybody does already, which is ignore those
Right.
things.
I think what
Not saying it's okay, just
no,
saying
the story is ridiculous. And again, he said it, and I was flabbergasted at the time. But it's like a lot of good comedy sketches. They do point out hypocrisy, or they point out the elephant in the room that we're not addressing. And he's like, "Yep, as long as it fits my needs, I'll buy them."
That's, well, I think it's not I think, and I don't believe this is a new idea. Most people act aligned with their self-interest.
Yeah.
So if it's good for them,
yeah,
it's fine.
Just to point out a quick thing, since we are going to the break, we had a topic on our rundown about a month and a half ago about weather modification and how it's real, and how there's Wyoming's weather modification program trying to help end a drought.
I don't remember this.
You guys looked at, I know, because you don't read the rundown.
I do.
I
just forgot it.
Well, it's
You just look
100
like
pages long.
you just.
It is 100 pages long.
You guys just had a look on your face like it was an alien thing to think people modify weather. They do. It's just not controlled by like the government.
Yeah,
to
well,
make
it's-
weather things happen.
And it's not making the weather, and it's not giving you a nice fall day
No,
in Boston.
it's all about solving drought issues.
I would support
Yes.
that. A nice fall day.
God,
in
I would do a
Boston.
fall day every day if we could have it all year.
I would like
No more summers.
increase in sales tax to have a beautiful fall day.
I would pay for it.
Yeah. What, Kevin?
Let's go. Can we change it on our own?
Well, we
the
are.
government's
but
already doing it.
We are, but in a detrimental way.
Hey, we got the. We'll tell you what's trending. It's not the weather. We'll tell you what's trending coming up next.
Well, for over 50 years, STL Fenceworks has been serving the St. Louis, the St. Charles, the Warren, and Franklin counties. And they are ready to serve you and help you make your leisure space, your backyard, fence, deck, whatever it is you need, the backyard of your dreams. We were just talking about the weather, and it's beautiful right now. You want to be the home where the neighbors gather, the family gathers, your friends gather. And whether that is maybe putting up a fence, getting a little bit more privacy and separation, or replacing that old, weathered, tired-looking deck and getting a brand new deck, maybe a 2-story deck, something that you've been wanting, STL Fenceworks can help you out. And they can help you out right now because they have all the materials and supplies on hand. It's not going to be a long lead in because they've got to order products and wait for them to arrive and there's supply chain issues. Nope, none of that with STL Fenceworks. They have more materials and supplies on hand right now than they've had at any other time in their 50-year history. And you know that you'll be working with a family-owned company and a locally owned company that has a lifetime warranty on all of their work that surpasses anything else in the industry. Visit them today at stlfenceworks.com.
Odyssey celebrates Hispanic Heritage Month and the trailblazers who made their mark worldwide. Sonia Sotomayor is the first Hispanic and Latina to become Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States. Sonia received a bachelor's degree from Princeton in 1976 and graduated summa cum laude in 2009. President Barack Obama nominated her to the Supreme Court. Odyssey salutes Supreme Court Justice Sotomayor on National Hispanic Heritage Month. More on the Odyssey app and celebrate the sounds and stories of Hispanic heritage at odyssey.com/HHM.
Manor Grove has been caring for seniors for over a century. Everyone at Manor Grove is treated like family, and that's exactly how our residents should feel, like family. Our staff strives to make Manor Grove feel like home. Be assured, your loved one will be well taken care of at Manor Grove. The entire Manor Grove team views everyone inside as family and looks forward to seeing residents and coworkers every day. See for yourself at manorgrove.com and take our virtual tour. Welcome home to Manor Grove.
You had a solid retirement dream, sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with Truehold. Truehold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. And Truehold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since Truehold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit Truehold.com and discover how much Truehold will buy your home for today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's Truehold.com.
Spark Co-working St. Louis is a new collaborative workspace located within the PwC Pennant Building in Ballpark Village. The Spark Co-working community supports the thriving St. Louis entrepreneurial ecosystem, where you can live, work, and watch the Cardinals play all within one district. The all-inclusive workspace includes furnished month-to-month offices and suites with stadiums, city, and arch views, concierge mail service, nitro cold brew coffee on tap, and so much more. Call 314-278-5297 or visit spark-stl.com.
One of the things that surprises people after they retire is how much they still owe in taxes. The good news is Steve All of the All Financial Group, he's here to show you some strategies that can lower your tax obligations both now and in the future. Call today 636-230-8824 or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory services offered through All Financial Group, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuity products offered through Stephen All, Missouri license 8039738.
Get started with the Vision Walk today and form your Vision Walk team to raise money for a cure. For more information, go to visionwalk.org or call 314-852-7223.
Hi, Kent Newbold for Newbold BMW. Your BMW is worth more than ever before, so don't trust your maintenance to a bunch of amateurs. Come see the factory-trained technicians at Newbold BMW in O'Fallon, Illinois, or at newboldbmw.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
In business since 1957, we've seen many competitors come and go. Hi, I'm Chuck Easter with Easter Fence Deck and Renovations. Many companies pass away with the owners, and their customers are left with useless promises and warranties. At Easter, we are in the third generation and have a succession plan. You know we'll be here to honor our warranty, which is the best in the industry, and take care of all of your fence, deck, and outdoor construction needs. Call 314-892-8500 or easterfence.com.
Easter Fence Deck and Renovations, where customers become friends.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 314-441-4444.
This is the show.
The show continues on KMOX.
What is it? What's happened?
What's going on? What do you know?
What just happened?
What happened?
You need to know.
Trending now on the show.
All right, trending is sponsored by Old Town Donuts in Florissant and Cottleville. You want to go first? I'll go first if you guys don't want to. I go first.
Sure.
I haven't. Ron, you haven't been here for a while. You want to jump in?
I said go first. Okay,
I
I'll
thought
tell
you
you
said
that.
I want to go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
No.
That's what
It's just like an Abbott and Costello routine.
I was
Who's
offering
on first? I don't know. Third base.
I was offering it to you. So I'm looking at this story on. There's a thing called RSVP Magazine, which I've never heard of, but it's verified, so it must be something. But there's a veterinarian in the United Kingdom who went to TikTok, and he gave the 5 breeds of dogs that he would.
This.
Did you see this?
I saw this. It's really interesting, and his logic is pretty smart.
Okay, so like, there are 5 breeds of dogs that he would never adopt.
And it's a vet.
This is a vet
in
saying
England,
this.
I believe.
And the first one is a Chow Chow.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And they're adorable looking dogs.
They're really cute
I
dogs.
like those, but
Yeah.
he said he would never get. And here's what he says. I'm sure there are some nice ones, but I just find they often don't have a very nice temperament. They're really aloof. They're often very aggressive at the vets, but it's hard to fit a muzzle on their face.
Yeah, because of the structure. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So also a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, which I've never even heard of.
Oh, they're
I
beautiful,
love them.
man.
I
They're
have-
really cool dogs.
I have dog sat.
My
before.
my aunt and uncle have 3 or 4 of them and have done that for 25, 30 years or so. They've always been into them.
Okay.
And, our friend Derek Gould has a King Charles.
Well, he says all of them, pretty much all of them, he says, have the same kind of heart disease called mitral valve disease. So they mainly spend their final days. Oh, here's what happens. They find their days spluttering and struggling to breathe and ultimately die of heart failure.
Their final days, not all the time.
No, yeah, their
Right,
final days when they're getting toward the end.
This is sad.
It is. Well, this is why he's saying he wouldn't.
He wouldn't get it. A dachshund. He wouldn't get a dachshund. They're really lovely dogs, he says. Some of my favorite patients are sausage dogs, but 1 in 4 of them develop back problems in their lifetime.
Yep.
Do you know why the cowboy got a dachshund?
Oh, God,
Because he wanted to get along, little doggy.
Come on, Amy.
Proceed with the list, Ron.
A Shar-Pei is also on the list.
Similar argument there, I think, for the chows, right? That a little bit on the aggressive side.
Well, it's more about their skin issues.
Okay. And I shouldn't say aggressive, protective. Like they're very much into their people, but not so much other people.
They are so wrinkly, they have to have their eyelids tacked into place so the hair on them doesn't get into their eyes. Always getting skin issues. They've got tiny, narrow ear canals, and they often try to bite the faces off of staff. So, yeah, they're a little bit aggressive.
My sister and her husband, they have a Shar-Pei. It's the sweetest dog, but some of them are a little standoffish. Yeah.
And the final one is a pug or a French bulldog.
Mm-hmm.
The short nose, right?
Well, here's what he says. There are specimens of these dogs that are healthier than others, but they are so prone to many issues.
Yes.
Spinal issues, skin problems, eye problems. The fact that over half of them have to have a cesarean to give birth is enough an ethical issue for me to never want to have one. If you're okay with that, fine. But for me, it's not fair.
No, see, I agree. And the French bulldogs, another thing that bothered me is they always look like they're struggling so much to breathe. Like, have we bred them to be unhealthy? That seems
because
unethical to
the
me.
snouts used to be longer, and they bred them like to the snouts have
It
gotten
just seems
shorter
cruel because they
over
just
the years.
look like they're just struggling to be alive all the time.
They are adorable, though.
Yeah, I mean, I completely I agree that there are things that we've done in breeding certain characteristics that are not good.
Mm-hmm.
They're not healthy for the dog. It would have been better had we not done it. But I also know people that own those breeds who obviously had no control over how they were bred hundreds and hundreds of years ago. And the dogs aren't always struggling. It sounds like it to us.
Right.
And some of them are struggling, though. But some of them are. It's just not 100% across the board.
There was this bulldog that the restaurant I used to work at, this old guy would walk it back and forth. His name was Daisy. And then Daisy would lay on the bench. Arms would hang off. Oh, my God. The dog was so cute, it was in commercials.
Nice.
I love a bulldog. Love them. They're great.
Coming up after the top of the hour, if you don't know what a SIM swap attack, we're going to let you know with Ian Scher from CNET when we return.
If you own a house in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is, without any inspections or the need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes St. Louis at 314-328-8000 or at chrisbuyshomes.louis.com and get your cash offer without any obligations, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant houses, inherited houses, fixer-uppers, beautiful houses, even the tenant won't pay the rent apartment. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis, and check out the best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to chrisbuyshomesinstlouis.com. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis or call 314-328-8000. That's 314-328-8000. Call Chris and get the offer you've been waiting for. Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis.com. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis.com or call 314-328-8000.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE and frustrated taking pills that don't work, Paramount Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that effectively treat your problem. 98% of patients experience immediate results during their first office visit. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Brown. The physicians at Paramount Men's Medical Center offer the most advanced treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Guys, to eliminate your frustration in the bedroom, call Paramount Men's Medical Center now to take advantage of this exclusive limited-time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free, and you'll see instant results right in the office. Call now, 314-720-8081. 314-720-8081. That's 314-720-8081.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Hi there, it's John Hancock for First Mid Bank and Trust. They're a community-focused organization. They put so much money back into the communities where they serve. They've been around for 157 years. If you're looking for a bank, check them out. They got 19 locations here in the greater St. Louis area. Plenty of small business professionals to work with. They got insurance experts. Whether you're saving for your first home, paying off debt, or planning for retirement, First Mid Bank is the place for you. Go check them out online, firstmid.com. You'll be glad you did.
Whether you're looking to fill low spots in your lawn, backfill that new retaining wall, or mulch your trees and flower beds, St. Louis Composting has the compost, soil, or mulch you need to help your plants and garden look its very best. Visit our website, stlcompost.com, for more information.
Fun in the sun is no fun at all without sunscreen. Just like reapplying sunscreen helps continue protection against the sun, a booster shot can help enhance protection against COVID-19 after a primary series vaccination. Schedule a booster appointment when eligible. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 11 o'clock, it's a sunny sky and 67 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour. Category 3 Hurricane Ian is hitting Cuba before heading to Florida. 2.5 million residents are under some type of evacuation order, while other residents are stocking up for the storm.
I'm Peter King in Orlando. People are filling up with gas, but there are not long lines at gas stations here, except for one exception here at a Sam's Club. The reason? Gas here is about 20 cents cheaper per gallon than every place else. Nobody is out of gas. Gas prices have not gone up anyplace else. People are just looking for their bargain here.
Forecasters warn West Central Florida could be the main area for impact. Governor Ron DeSantis says there is a possibility of severe flooding from storm surge. Jeff Rorta is out as business manager of the St. Louis Police Officers Association. The outspoken and controversial Rorta was put on paid leave earlier this month, and his last day on payroll will be Friday. Rorta represented the police union for almost a dozen years. As kids count down the days to Halloween, the Drug Enforcement Agency is warning of fentanyl candy copycats known as rainbow fentanyl.
Statistics have indicated we've seen it in at least 21 states.
Assistant Special Agent in Charge Colin Dickey says that includes Missouri.
We've had instances of seizures of rainbow-colored or colored fentanyl in the St. Louis metro area.
Dickey says Mexican cartels want more people addicted to fentanyl, so they're marketing to a younger generation. The multicolored candies contain about 2 milligrams of fentanyl, which could be fatal. The huge gas pipeline from Russia to Europe may have been sabotaged, as CBS News correspondent Cammie McCormick reports.
The Danish military has released photos showing gas leaks bubbling in the Baltic Sea. A seismic institute says underwater blasts were recorded prior to the leaks from the Nord Stream 2. Ukraine calls it a terrorist attack by Moscow. Both the Nord Stream 1 and the 2 carry natural gas from Russia to Europe.
Facebook says it's found and disabled a sprawling network of fake accounts that spread Russian propaganda about the invasion of Ukraine throughout Western Europe. CBS's Vicky Barker's in London.
Fake social media accounts were used to spread links to fake news stories and other pro-Russian posts and videos on Facebook and Instagram, as well as on such platforms as Telegram and Twitter. Parent company Meta says the network was active throughout the summer.
The First Mid Bank and Trust Business Desk. U.S. consumers are signaling growing confidence in the economy.
A day after a sell-off on Wall Street put major indexes into a bear market, the Conference Board's Consumer Confidence Report for September suggests rising confidence for the second month in a row, driven by falling gas prices and a strong labor market. The index rose to 108 from 103.6 in August. The back-to-back increases follow 3 months of declines as Americans felt the pinch of rising prices this summer. But while inflation is still concerning, spending. AAA reports the average price for a gallon of gas in the U.S. has fallen to $3.75. Lynn Franco, Senior Director of Economic Indicators at the Conference Board, says the improvement may bode well for consumer spending in the final months of 2022, but inflation and interest rate hikes remain strong headwinds to growth in the short term. I'm Jennifer King.
The Dow from Stifel's down 84 points to 29,176. There's a crash on 70 West past Hanley on the right shoulder. Some debris on 6440 going west on the ramp from Hanley. Debris on 44 East past Jameson has the two left lanes closed.
A spectacular afternoon of weather across St. Louis. Lots of sunshine, 72 for the high, low humidity. Tonight, clear and chilly, 60s for evening plans, 42 for the low. On Wednesday, sunny. Wednesday's the coolest day of the week, 68, down to 40 on Wednesday night. Thursday, Friday, sunshine and close to 70. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray for the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sponsored by St. Louis City SC, the new MLS club is now hiring stadium employees for the historic inaugural season. To work for St. Louis's professional soccer team, visit bit.ly/apply@city, bit.ly/apply@city. Sunny and 66 in Florissant, 67 St. Peter's, 67 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than four? 314-441-4444.
On the show, Chris Ranji, 80 Mark Scores, Kevin Wheeler with you here. Very happy to have Ian Sher with us again from CNET. You can find him on Twitter at his name, at Ian Sher. That's SHERR. Good to have you with us, Ian. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. I'm not enjoying that my namesake has been taken over by a storm in Florida. So, you know, I'm having to apologize to a lot of my friends, but otherwise I'm doing okay.
It's good. It's good. Well, we're glad we have you. Unfortunately, again, we're talking about something that we should all probably be paying a little bit of attention to. It's not necessarily a happy, joy, fun story. But for our listeners that haven't been paying attention to what the SIM swaps are and the way that they've increased in number here in recent, I guess I'd say recent months, how should people be paying attention to this? First of all, explain, I guess, in layman's terms to our listeners what that is and why it's a problem for them or could be a problem for them.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I came across SIM swapping a while back because I was talking to people who were doing kind of human rights protesting, and they were finding that what was happening was that every once in a while their Twitter accounts were being hacked into. And the way it works is really fascinating. A bad guy, right, or bad girl, calls one of the carriers that has your number, so that's AT&T, Verizon, or T-Mobile. Usually they can find out pretty easily. And then what they do is they try to convince the people on the other end of the line that they are you and that you just got a new SIM card and a new phone, and please to switch the line over to this new SIM card. It's literally SIM swapping, right? And the reason that this has become popular is that, of course, a lot of our banks, a lot of our Twitter accounts, a lot of our everything now include a two-factor authentication, right? Where you put in a password and your username, and then it sends you a text message with another password that you have to enter in within like 5 minutes. And if they can take over your cell phone number, then they can receive that text message and be able to hack into your account. And that is why it has become so popular.
Yeah, it's terrifying because basically they're getting access to everything on your phone. So if it's your bank account, it's your tax receipts, it's your social media, they can just say, yep, I forgot password. They'll get the email, they'll get the text, whatever it is. They basically become you and have access to everything that you have access to. There's nothing really standing in their way at that point.
Well, there's very little standing in their way. Yes. And this is part of why a lot of people who are cybersecurity experts that we've spoken to at CNET consider phone numbers to be the next social security number if you think of how carefully we have to protect them. Unfortunately, part of all of our lives is handing out our phone numbers to everyone, not hiding it from them. So one of the things that the carriers have started doing is that they have set up some processes to make sure that they are able to somehow protect you from SIM swapping. It's not guaranteed, unfortunately, because a lot of this is based upon the person on the other end of the phone, right? If they get a customer service person, they tell them a really sad tale, they might be able to convince them to go across the security. But there's actually, all of the carriers now have an extra layer of security you can put in where you have to give them like the name of your best friend from elementary school, or, you know, the name of the city street that you grew up on, and stuff like that, to be able to at least slow down the possibility of someone being able to hack in.
Is it possible? Oh, I'm sorry, Amy. Is it possible to know how many calls a carrier gets from somebody who legitimately has this emergency situation that happened, as opposed to a scammer calling and trying to get access to a phone number? I mean, does it happen so often that the security is not strong enough, you know, in order to, you know, prevent these things from happening?
So I'll give you an example that might help. So I wonder this myself, right? And part of the reason that I immediately stop wondering why everyone doesn't act like me is that I know that I am, you know, we even know what SIM cards are. We're talking about technology. Most of the world out there is not in that realm, right? Many of them might know what SIM cards are, but you go beyond that. Most people barely understand how technology works, and that's not being negative. It's literally magic to a lot of people. And so part of the problem here is that, you know, for example, I signed up with a friend to be their backup for whenever they lost their password for their email, because they would forget their password every once in a while. They'd hit the forgot it and they'd get a link, and sometimes they couldn't get in. And so I said, sure, I'll be your person. It happens like every 6 weeks. It's insane. So, you know, if you multiply that out to the 7 billion of us that are on this planet, these calls happen every day, and they happen way more than you think. And those are the legitimate ones, right? Never mind the fake ones that also are happening pervasively all the time.
Is there a solution to this?
Well, you know, they're working on it. So one of the things that they've come up with is an idea called eSIM, right? So now we've already talked about what a SIM card is. An eSIM is a digital SIM card. So it's actually a code that you get, it's a QR code, those weird box things that you see on some labels. So you would be scanning the QR code to be able to actually get your SIM card turned on your phone. So there would be no way for them to swap the SIM, as it were. That's one way that it's being handled. Even then, there's possibility it could get hacked, right? All these things continue. One of the other things is that there are a lot of the experts out there that we've spoken to at CNET say one of the best ways you can protect yourself is actually to remove your phone number from AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. How do you do that? Well, there's stuff like Google Voice, which is free for the public, and you can actually transfer any phone number into Google Voice, and then there's no way for the hacker to be able to get access to that, right? Yeah, you have to get access to your Google account. So that's what a lot of the experts out there actually do, is they use third parties that manage their phone number for them. I know it sounds crazy ridiculous, but this is where we are, and that is able to protect them.
And my understanding, too, is if you are a victim of SIM swapping, you contact the FBI. I know that FBI complaints to the FBI about SIM swapping has increased dramatically. From 2018 to 2020, the FBI reported $12 million in losses. So in those few years. But in 2021 alone, the FBI reported $68 million in losses, showing a huge escalation of SIM attacks.
Well, and it's also worth noting that those numbers are always an undercount, because they are only numbers that are reported by the public to the FBI. And a lot of people, when they get hacked, or especially when they get defrauded, they don't like to tell the police, because oftentimes, and this is really sad, I've spoken to a lot of victims, the police will say, well, you should have known better, right? And so they don't want to deal with all the hassle that comes with probably not even getting help from the police. So a lot of people try to resolve these things on their own, or they just say lost cause and get a new number.
How much do we know about the scope of Meta shutting down all of the covert influencing that Russian entities were engaging in?
You know, that is another huge ball of wax that's hard to kind of figure out. One of the things we know is that there is some research out there that says that every one of us essentially saw some piece of disinformation that was run by the Russians at one point over the last 5 years, specifically during the 2016 election and during the 2020 election. Now, I remember, specifically one of them, which was that there was the one that got to the top of Facebook's trending that the Pope had endorsed Donald Trump in 2016. That was not factually true. But it's those types of things. It's really hard to be able to tell how far it's gone. The truth is that Facebook is constantly trying to fight these things. And so is Twitter and YouTube and all this stuff. But, one of the things I talk about all the time is that these companies have profits that are ridiculous. I mean, literally their profits in the last year are larger than the size of than the budget for the Israeli army. They could literally build an army out of their profits from 1 year. So why they're not doing more to fight this stuff, I'm always curious.
Ian, before we let you go, what should listeners be on the lookout for that might be signs that they have been a victim of SIM swapping?
Yeah, I mean, the good news about SIM swapping, if there is any, is that if you get it, immediately you will know because your phone's not going to stop working.
Right.
You're suddenly not going to be able to get text messages. You're not going to be able to get phone calls. You are going to have a very tough time using your phone. So you'll usually know immediately. Also, typically the carriers will send you either a text message before they do it or also an email to let you know that they've just done this, right? So that they kind of are CYA for themselves. So the best answer, honestly, is those things. But if you're worried about it, particularly if you're a high-profile person, maybe you work in the legal field, maybe you're someone who might be targeted by, I don't know what, you want to make sure you go to your carrier and create that extra password to stop SIM swapping. They're all used to it by now. Just call them and say, hey, I want to protect my account further. They will help you.
Last thing we have for you, or at least that I have for you anyway, is it is the end of September, which means we are very, very close to holiday season. And I know a lot of people are going to be doing holiday shopping earlier than normal this year, and a lot of companies are getting ready for that. Are there any new items, devices, anything that software that people might be on the lookout for as the holidays approach?
Yeah, I mean, typically we're finding that more and more it's technology that tends to be the really popular stuff during the holidays, and that's not a shock, right? Our whole lives have revolved around technology, particularly during the pandemic. Samsung released new versions of their folding phones, which if you are really into kind of bleeding edge technology, those are really nifty. We've done reviews on them on CNET, and we've actually used them for extended periods and talked about how that feels. Apple's iPhones, of course, they updated them just the last couple of weeks. Those also got excellent reviews. The cameras in particular have gotten a lot of call out. So that's another thing that people will probably be very interested in. But one of the other things that I think we're probably going to hear a lot about is that, people are still trying to figure out what are they going to do at home now that the pandemic is kind of starting to not go away, but to calm down a little bit, right? And so a lot of people are figuring out, okay, do I want to make my home more comfortable and buy a better TV? That's what a lot of people did during the pandemic before, right? A lot of those types of things also are probably going to be conversations during the holidays.
Ian, you're the best, man. Thanks for the information. We really appreciate it, and we'll look forward to talking to you again soon.
Absolutely. Take care.
You got it. Ian Sherr from CNET. He's editor-at-large there. His work will also appear in the Wall Street Journal as well. You can follow him on Twitter at his name, Ian, Sherr. All right, coming up next, there is a survey that's been done that is telling you which states are the least happy, are the happiest. You'll see where Missouri falls, where Illinois falls, maybe where you fall. 314-436-7900 if you want to chime in on your state of happiness here on the show.
Well, the past couple of years have been a bumpy ride for business owners, whether you were dealing with the pandemic and the shutdowns, the lockdowns, the restrictions, to the inflation, supply chain issues. You're probably thinking, I could really use a break, a little bit of help. Where can I find some help? Well, if your business has 5 or more employees and managed to survive COVID, you could be eligible to receive a payroll tax rebate of up to $26,000 per employee. And that's right. It's a refund of your taxes. It's not a loan. There's no payback. Now, the hard part is just figuring out how to get your hands on it, right? It can be pretty confusing. Here's what you need to do. Go to getrefunds.com. Getrefunds.com. The team of tax attorneys they have put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program and have already returned $1 billion to businesses, and they can help you too. Businesses of all types can qualify, including those who took PPP, nonprofits, and even those that had an increase in sales. To find out more, go to getrefunds.com.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to KMOX for all the news, sports, talk, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
Not all windows are created equal. See things more clearly with an STL Windows Direct window. Compare the difference at STLWindowsDirect.com. STLWindowsDirect.com.
STL Windows Direct.
When do you need to see an ophthalmologist? Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. Now, that's a good question. If your vision is blurry, you notice dark spots in the middle of your field of vision, you're seeing flashes or new floaters, if you have difficulty seeing distances, if there's a sharp pain in one eye along with vision changes, or if you have trouble driving because of glare, these are all good reasons to make your appointment with the doctors and ophthalmology associates, 314-966-5000 and yourEyeDoc.com. And if your eyes are itchy and scratchy, that might be more than allergies. The doctors, Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Andrew Royer, and Robert Brusati are also leaders in dry eye diagnosis and treatment. I've been a patient of theirs for about 25 years. In Sullivan, St. Peter's, and their main headquarters, 270 in Manchester, 314-966-5000 and yourEyeDoc.com.
Our national debt is now over $30 trillion, an increase of over 20% in just the past 2 years. I'm sure you've been told at some point that taxes will be lower when you retire, but do you truly believe that? Now is the time to begin planning for the future of tax increases. Is your financial advisor helping you with tax planning for a tax-efficient future? If not, this is the time to call me, Ken Heisey, at Heisey Advisory Group, 314-328-4400. If you're like most people, you have a portfolio of investments, but a portfolio is not a plan. How have you planned for the potential legislative risk of increased taxes? Call Heisey Advisory Group now and let us help you create a plan to reduce the tax risk in your retirement. Call 314-328-4400, 314-328-4400.
Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through A Wealth Management, LLC.
This is Corey from Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling, here to tell you about an organization that is near and dear to our company and one we've been proud to sponsor, Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Greater St. Louis Honor Flight flies World War II, Korea, and Vietnam War veterans to Washington, D.C. for free to see their memorials. Greater St. Louis Honor Flight is looking for you. If you know of a veteran, please sign them up for their honor flight. Or if you'd like to lend your support, visit gslhonorflight.org. And for all things heating and cooling, visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
Local news and information direct to your smart speaker. Just say, play KMOX.
Raj, Amy.
What?
What?
Oh boy, the way you answered, I know the answer to the question. How happy are you?
Oy, you mean I right now? My happiness is at like a 3, but it has nothing to do with the state of the union I'm in.
I just mean like in general. I don't mean this moment. This moment, I know you're tired. You had a long night.
I'm happy, and I can answer for Ranji. He's crabby.
He's crabby.
Yeah,
all
I'm
the
crabby
time.
today.
All the
I'm very
time.
tired. No,
Well,
I'm not.
Generally speaking, but there's
Generally
I'm not
speaking.
crabby. all
there's
the
a
time.
difference between crabby and unhappy.
Well, all right. Let me put it this way. I don't have children, but I imagine that my experience with the two of you is like being on the couch in the living room while your two toddlers are jumping up and down and screaming, and you can't get them to stop.
No, this is not like that.
No, I
think he's probably right. But he's always been crabby. Do you know what I mean? He
That's
was crabby
because of
before you
this.
No, you were crabby before you got on the couch.
I don't think so, because I knew what I was in for. I was like, this is going to suck. You're coming down the stairs. You're like, oh, my kids are awful. They're going to be so loud and I can't get them to quit.
Is that you've been crabby for as long as I've known you.
That's not true. It's just not true.
Why are you asking us, Kevin?
What?
You said about why are you asking? What's your point?
That's a great question. Kevin, what's your point?
What's your point?
Well, the point was that I thought there was a group decision that we were going to talk about this, and it's on the rundown in front of me that we're talking about the happiest states in the country. And you...
Because for everyone who wasn't in the pre-show meeting, this is why Ron just crabby.
See, what it's called is a jumping off point. When you set it
Yeah,
up,
I know,
you go talk.
Yes,
You go, hey,
yes,
guys,
yes,
why
Kevin.
are we talking about
Kevin,
that?
jump off now. All right.
All right.
So apparently we're not very happy in the state of Missouri.
Okay. How compared to what?
Compared to what do you mean compared to other states?
I'm super pissed right now. I'm out.
You're always that way though. You're always mad. He's
No.
always crabby.
Well, Amy thinks that like honesty is angry.
Well, no, 'cause
I just
you're-
don't BS.
You're honestly angry all the time.
Well, I get angry. Yes.
Yeah.
So
you're intense.
That's true.
Wallet Hub does these surveys. They like to do surveys all the time, and they did this. The newest survey is.
Old reliable Wallet Hub.
Hey, I like a good Wallet Hub. I don't even know what that means. But they ranked the happiest.
Nothing.
They ranked the happiest states in the country.
Okay, so how are we doing?
Missouri came in 41st
Out of 50?
out of 50 states. That we are the one of the least happy states in the entire country.
Well, I believe it if this room is a sample size.
It could be. It could be. They do say the COVID pandemic was one of the biggest stressors of the last couple of years. Rampant inflation is a huge threat to mental health. They say 87% of Americans are anxious or very anxious about inflation. That is according to the American Psychiatric Association poll. So they're talking about environmental factors being part of this, economic, emotional, physical, and social health, all key to this. And according to these metrics, we're not very happy in the state of Missouri. Meanwhile, Illinois is number 8 in terms of
Fake
happiness
news.
overall.
Fake news. Everyone I know from Illinois is crabby.
That's just not true.
You just don't know
one
anybody
person
from the big city.
Yeah, you don't know anybody from up north. You know,
A lot of Southern Illinois people.
and all the southern, like the actual southern Illinois people,
Mhm.
not this Southwest stuff that I'm from. You know,
I mean,
we're
'cause
talking
you're
like the
crabby
actual.
and you're from Southern Illinois.
Well, see, you make me crabby. I don't think you understand. But the people I know from Southern Illinois are happy people. I feel like the people, for the most part, that I know from my area, you know, the Granite City, Belleville, Edwardsville, Alton area, they're all generally
I will
happy
say,
people.
We've got Southern Illinoisans in the newsroom, and they're all very friendly and happy.
Yeah, so what are you talking
I think
about?
it's you.
Yes, because they don't have to sit in the room with you for 4 hours.
I don't believe that
They walk by
Illinois-
you in passing, and then they could say goodbye to you.
Illinois is not number 8. It can't be.
Well, of
Here are
course,
the
because we have anecdotal evidence of like 6 people that contradict that.
Here are the states that are the happiest. Can you guess the happiest, the number 1 overall happiest state?
You go ahead. You guess first.
You'll not be surprised.
I'm guessing California.
California.
It is Hawaii.
I was going to say Hawaii.
Yeah. Good one.
I should have said Hawaii because I was going to
How
say
could
Hawaii.
you not be happy?
I don't know. I know that things are really expensive there,
Yeah.
but as you're buying your $12 Spam, I'm sure you'd be like, I don't care because look at that.
Also, they love Spam there.
They do
I
love
know.
Spam.
It's a huge. It's really a big deal.
I learned a lesson just now, and that is, folks, go with your gut. I had Hawaii on my mind, and then I let Kevin change
Don't
my
let him.
mind.
Don't let him
Wait.
influence you. All right,
You said
listen.
it before me.
Hey,
You said it.
top 10. Let me give you the top 10 real quick. Hawaii, number 1.
Yep.
Maryland.
Huh.
Interesting.
Were you very happy last night in Baltimore?
No, I was not. I sat in the airport for 9 hours. Minnesota is number 3, and they seem like fine people. Utah. How can Utah be in this list?
Oh, Utah, super happy.
They got
They're
no
so
booze.
Nice.
New Jersey. New Jersey, Idaho, California, Illinois, Nebraska, and then Connecticut. Those are your 10 happiest states.
New Jersey and Illinois are fake news.
Okay.
New Jersey seems nice.
We can talk about a program that's doing great things for veterans in the St. Louis area when we come back after the news here on the show.
This is KMOX AccuWeather meteorologist Dean DeVore. Don't walk out the door unprepared. Listen for my forecast weekday mornings on St. Louis's only all-news and weather morning show. Weather every 10 minutes on Total Information AM on St. Louis's News Radio, KMOX.
Tom Ackerman for Building Community with Busey Bank, a podcast series easily accessible at KMOX.com/community banking. This summer, the Little Bit Foundation lost their huge warehouse and headquarters in the flood. It's both a heartbreaking and inspirational story, with Busey and the community helping. Listen to our September podcast, Building Community with Busey Bank, at KMOX.com/community banking.
Baseball is everywhere with the MLB app. Get exclusive updates from around the league on your mobile devices. From game day pitch-by-pitch features to select live broadcast coverage, the MLB app is your ticket to all things baseball all the time. Get live notifications sent to your phone, watch, and car so you're always up to date on the biggest breaking news, scores, and standings. The MLB app is your hub for live baseball everywhere you go. Download the MLB app today on the Apple App Store or Google Play. Additional subscriptions may be required.
What was that? If you find yourself asking that question more and more often, do yourself a favor and get your hearing checked today at the Audiology Center. Dr. Colleen Bosler has a doctorate in audiology, the most thorough hearing assessment test, and the top-of-the-line hearing aids. The Audiology Center, with 3 locations, Creve Coeur, St. Peters, and Florissant. Call today, 636-441-7470, or find Dr. Bosler online at theaudiologycenterstl.com.
Carol Daniel here. Leslie Gill, president of Rung for Women, addresses the gender wage gap in our latest episode of PNC C-Speak, the language of executives. She advises employers to stop asking applicants for their previous salary and post the range. PNC C-Speak provides digital storytelling from a C-level perspective on relevant, forward-thinking business approaches. Listen to our 14-minute podcast with Leslie Gill at KMOX.com/PNC C-Speak. PNC C-Speak, the language of executives.
At 11:30, it's sunny and 68 degrees downtown at the Arch. The U.S. National Hurricane Center says Ian hit Cuba early today as a Category 3 storm with sustained winds of 125 miles per hour. Authorities in Cuba evacuated more than 50,000 people, and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says an estimated 2.5 million people are under evacuation orders. Florida is already getting heavy rain from Ian. Officials say about 98,000 Russians have crossed into Kazakhstan in the past week since Vladimir Putin announced a partial mobilization of reservists to fight in Ukraine. Kazakhstan and Georgia, both once part of the Soviet Union, appeared to be the most popular destinations for those traveling by land. We've learned a bit more about Monday afternoon's homicide case in South St. Louis County, happened in the 5500 block of Gulf Ridge Lane. County police say 21-year-old Janice King died from injuries suffered in that shooting. A second female victim was treated at the hospital. Police say the gunfire resulted from an argument between acquaintances. And there's a stall 44 east before Antire. It's in the left lane, 70 west, just past Lindbergh. That's on the right shoulder. A stall 70 west at 5th Street and 70 east before Hanley on the right shoulder. Weather is sponsored by STL Windows Direct. Plenty of sunshine today with a high 72. Clear sky overnight, the low 42. Tomorrow's high 65 to 70. It's 68 degrees at the moment downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Not all windows are created equal. See things more clearly with an STL Windows Direct window. Compare the difference at STLWindowsDirect.com. STLWindowsDirect.com.
STL Windows Direct.
Oh, I'm going to be heading to the grocery store, I think today on the way home. If not today, it'll be tomorrow, because I like to get my prep for the weekend done in advance, because I got a lot of stuff going on the weekend. I don't want to have to figure it all out while I'm coaching and watching college football or pro football or watching baseball. I want to have it all set up. So what I'm going to do is get my pizza ready for the weekend in advance. I'm going to go to the grocery store and I'm going to pick up the Brew Pub Latza Matza Pizza. I haven't had the Hawaiian in a bit. That's probably where I'm going to go this weekend. The bacon cheeseburger is fantastic. They have the traditional ones as well. Pepperoni, sausage, plain old cheese, all kinds of great choices in terms of the style of pizza, but they're all the same in this regard. Amazing top-of-the-line ingredients, award-winning mozzarella cheese, a great crust, flavorful sauce, and just the right amount, right? Because some pizzas, they don't have enough. Some of them, it's like, okay, that's overwhelming everything else on the pizza. It's a great balance with the Brew Pub Latza Matza pizzas. And look, they personify what you're looking for. There's a reason why it's in the clear packaging, so you can see everything that's on there. And they're not in a box where sometimes you open that thing out and slide it and you're like, oh, all right, great. So where's the cheese? And you go pull some of the cheese already in your fridge to add to the pizza. Well, that's not the point. You want to get everything in one spot. Check out the Brew Pub Latza Matza pizzas. They're in grocery stores all over the St. Louis area.
United Way of Greater St. Louis is celebrating a century of helping people in our region with essential needs, early childhood and youth success, health and well-being, jobs and financial mobility, and community stability and crisis response. Find out how you can help our community at helpingpeople.org.
Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
You had a solid retirement dream, sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with Truehold. Truehold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want, and Truehold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since Truehold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit Truehold.com and discover how much Truehold will buy your home for today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's Truehold.com.
Swing and a miss for a Redbird winner. Your St. Louis Cardinals are seeking yet another Central Division championship.
The magic number is 3.
KMOX is Cardinals Radio.
11:35 on the show. Chris Ranchi, Amy Marks Kors, and Kevin Wheeler with you here. I teased this. As in this segment, we want to talk about something really good that's being done for veterans in the St. Louis area. And on that note, we're going to bring in Adam McBride. He's the Executive Director of Veterans Project St. Louis. And we've been reading about, Adam, first of all, thank you for doing this. We've been reading about the tiny home projects and the tiny home communities that have happened in other parts of the state and in other parts of the Midwest. Explain for our listeners what you guys are doing with that, and if there's any way that we can all become a part of helping make this move forward.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me on today. Kevin, Amy, and Chris, longtime listener. Love you guys' noonday program. So
we thank you for that. The check is in the mail.
Yeah. It's not very
we arranged
much.
that in advance.
It's a small check, but we do what we can.
See, now you guys threw me off. You're going to have to repeat your question.
No, just because this has been the Veterans Community Project has been present in multiple cities, and this tiny homes thing is now expanded to St. Louis. So I guess just, tell us about that first and the sort of help you are all looking for.
Yes, sir. So you're right. Veterans Community Project, it was born in Kansas City, Missouri by 5 combat veterans who all struggled in their own way when they came home from serving in theater. They said there's got to be a better way. So they sat down, came up with a plan, and then, like combat veterans do, they executed their plan. And this is what we have today. And so we're approaching our 5-year operational status in Kansas City, Missouri. We've expanded to Colorado and to St. Louis and South Dakota. And the tiny house model is what we use. It's what we're most known for. So to be clear, the St. Louis project, we are building 50 tiny houses. This is transitional housing for homeless veterans in the metropolitan area. Right now, we're currently working on phase 1, which is the first 20 houses. Our veteran outreach that'll be available for all walk-in support services. And then our wraparound services actually take place out of our community center that'll be involved, and we'll start constructing next year. So the case managers are all VCP case managers. The tiny house model works really great for us. It's part of our Housing with Dignity program. And what that essentially means is the tiny house is yours. Everything that's in it becomes your personal property once you move in. Things that you can take with you, that's the bed, the mattress, the pillow, even the stove and the refrigerator if the permanent housing solution that you're heading to after you leave us is without. it's a safe space that you can have. It's pet friendly, and that's one of the things that private domicile brings with it. The trauma informed, so everything from the orientation of the bed and the pillow, where the windows and door is all intentional. And we posted in Kansas City, and I expect to see similar numbers here. Our current rate is an 85% positive transition to permanent housing rate.
Wow.
Wow, that's extraordinary. And like you said, the intentionality of all the details within each tiny house and how it is focused on the trauma that these veterans may have seen. I know from working with the Salvation Army that approximately 11% of our homeless population are veterans. So along with the homes that this project provides, are you guys working in collaboration with some other resources, be it mental health or help with addiction as well, so that these veterans can work out the life skills they'll need to move past the transition phase?
Yeah, Amy, you're spot on. So our model is to complement, not compete. And so what our founders said, and I think they had great vision here, was what is the gap? And it all starts with housing. A roof over our head, a place to get clean in the morning and sort of restore some of that dignity back in our lives. And then what happens after that? So we take care of all the case management programming in-house. We'll operate a food pantry out of the outreach center. We'll have emergency assistance funds available for back rent or mortgage payments or utility bills. It all sort of centralizes around this housing solution and making sure that everything that we are working towards, or any veteran is working towards, begins with a safe space and a place that they can begin that work with from a place of dignity and start to reinstill some of that pride. So the things that we don't directly offer, though, and that's where we work through the community. And I want to be clear. So one of the things that sets us apart from some other VSOs and the VA is that we don't abide by the traditional qualifiers. Our founders said that anyone that raised their right hand, signed on that dotted line, regardless of type of service, length of service, or this one will resonate with some, discharge status, we will take care of you the best way that we know how at Veterans Community Project. So all veterans, as long as you have discharge service paperwork, none of the rest, nothing else matters to us. And so we are in the process currently of building out those relationships within the St. Louis area for veteran service providers that are specific to vets, but also with traditional social service programs for those that don't qualify for your traditional VA services.
So, Adam, what are we looking at, like, time-wise? And then once we get to the point where you're going to be moving people in, how do we connect you with the people that need those services?
Yeah, great question. So time-wise, we are still looking at fall of this year. We've got 16 frames and roofs up on our first 20 tiny houses. The outreach center is nearing completion. It is 2022 and it is construction.
Nice.
So supply chain issues still exist, but our target has not changed yet. It went from early fall to late fall. Whether it moves again is quite honestly out of my control. But we are working as hard as we can. Our original intention was to make sure that we were housing veterans prior to Christmas of this year. And we're still driving very hard every day to meet that self-imposed timeline. And if we don't, it will be as soon as we can get everything online, barring any additional supply chain issues.
And so, Adam,
you also asked.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say the second part of that question was about how to get involved.
Right. Yeah.
And so, so our name is Veterans Community Project, and as cliche as it sounds, and maybe even is, it takes a community to raise a village. And our model that began with the Kansas City model was to be able to allow an opportunity for citizens in the areas that we serve to have the chance to really put some sweat equity in addition to, like any other nonprofit, the monetary side of fundraising that all nonprofits must do. And so we do have volunteer opportunities. All of this can be found on our website. You can register to be a volunteer. You can donate to our cause. And our president of national expansion, Jason Kander, who many of your listeners may know that name, I like the way he says it. He says, Veterans Community Project provides an opportunity to do more than stand up at a baseball game and clap your hands.
Mm-hmm.
It's an opportunity to invest not just financially, but with some real sweat equity and hard work. And so at the end of the project, knowing what will happen in our campus here in St. Louis, you kind of walk away with maybe a sense of pride that lasts more than just a day.
I love the way he put that, because I do think that maybe we focus too much generally on the thanking the troops theater without actually thanking troops. And this is one of the ways to do it, is you help people who have been in the service, help them get on their feet if they are struggling in some way. And a community like this does that.
That's exactly how we feel.
The other thing, Adam, and I kind of want to talk about just the communities themselves, because the tiny house thing is kind of popular. I mean, there are a lot of people who just have chosen to live in 300-foot square houses just because they want to downsize, and there's something very cozy about it. So there are shows about it. You can watch TV shows about people building their tiny homes or moving into their tiny homes. What is it actually like to live in one of these communities? Because it looks like a neighborhood but the neighborhood is just filled with tiny houses.
Yeah, so our tiny houses are slab on grade, stick built, fully functioning houses. They're not sheds with beds, full kitchen, full bath. We just happen to package it in our individual units in roughly 240 square feet. We do have 10 of our 50 houses will be what we call our family units, and that's one of my favorite parts of Veterans Community Project is the opportunities that exist for a struggling veteran to get back on their feet into stable housing, gain a permanent address, and then start to reconnect. Usually by that point in their life, the reconnection is happening with dependent children. And so our family units, 10 of our 50 will be those. They're roughly 320 square feet. And they'll sleep comfortably up to 5. And that's my favorite part, to be honest, is to hear the stories from our village in Kansas City and what some of that family reunification sort of really looks like, and what that part of that process of getting back on your feet means to the veterans. We also have had some veterans that have been homeless that have moved in with us in our Kansas City village. And for the record, Chris, I keep pointing to Kansas City because it is the fully operational village based on this model that exists today. And we've had some move in with their child. They were homeless together, sleeping in a car or on a relative or friend's couch for a period of time. And we've had them attend local schools and be permanent fixtures within the village here too. But it's amazing when you walk in what you can do with 240 to 320 square feet. Everybody that's taken a tour of our model tiny house, and we do have one, and actually it's closer to 200 square feet to keep a road legal. The look on everybody's faces is the translation of 240. I did not expect to look like this.
Interesting. So in closing, Adam, if we want to get anybody involved, whether it's somebody that might be looking to take advantage of the program and maybe move into a tiny home down the road, or if you need volunteers or donations or anything, should people just go to veteranscommunityproject.org?
They should. And at the top on the banner, there will be an About tab. If you hover over it, go down and click on St. Louis, you'll find updated information. You can also follow us on all the major social media channels. We post 3 to 5 different things a week to help you stay informed and get involved. And our volunteer system is also through our website, but we use something called Volunteer Matters. And if you register for it, you'll get all volunteer opportunities we push to your inbox when they come around, and you can sign up for them that way.
Great stuff, Adam. Great work. Really appreciate what you're doing, and hopefully we can chat again somewhere down the road to talk about progress and maybe another neighborhood going up somewhere in the future.
I'd love it, and I just want to say again, I appreciate you guys taking the time to talk to us about VCP today.
Glad to do it. Great to highlight great work. Thank you so much, Adam. We appreciate it.
Thanks, sir.
You got it. Adam McBride is the executive director of the Veterans Community Project in St. Louis, veteranscommunityproject.org. And from there, the links are simple. He just described how to get involved. You can make donations. You can just help move the process along. And if you want to do a tour, they actually book tours if you want to go look and see how it's going. And there are pictures there of the community already set up in Kansas City, so you can have an idea what it's going to look like once it's completed here in St. Louis. It's a fantastic program, and that is really cool. And I think Jason Kander's involved in that too, right?
He is.
He's part of the Kansas City contingent. Yeah.
Yeah. And he mentioned Kander and how he defined this. And I don't think that can be stressed enough. And I want to repeat it again. I think we do way, way, way too much of the theater of saluting the troops, thanking the troops, NFL games. It's nothing but that. Let's actually do things to help them and not just let's stand on our feet and clap. And we should do those things too.
Yes.
But I feel like we do that and then that's it. And then we feel like, hey, we're acknowledging the troops. That's great. Help them, because a lot of these people need help when they come back and we abandon them as soon as they do.
Again, it's veteranscommunityproject.org for all the information you want about it, including on how you can take part and become a volunteer.
I'm pretty sure I spent most of the weekend at my parents' backyard because it was gorgeous outside and we're barbecuing and hanging with family and friends. And now, the weather is gorgeous today. If you want to be the backyard where everybody hangs out, where they have the barbecues, you have the parties, the birthday parties, the evening get-togethers, listening to Cardinal playoff baseball, perhaps, go to stlfenceworks.com. stlfenceworks.com. For over 50 years, STL Fenceworks has been serving St. Louis, St. Charles, the Franklin and Warren counties, and never once have they wavered in their quality and customer first approach. When you work with STL Fenceworks, you can rest assured that your project will be completed by an experienced craftsman in a timely manner. Yes, a timely manner, because they've got all the materials and supplies on hand right now. There's no supply chain issues that you have to deal with. They've got it. They're ready to go. Whether you need to put in a fence for a little separation, a little privacy, or a brand new deck, they can help you out. And of course, their lifetime warranty, it reinforces their commitment. That lifetime warranty surpasses anything else that you'll find in the industry. It is the best. Visit them today at stlfenceworks.com.
Cancer is a journey from diagnosis through treatment and beyond. Cancer Support Community of Greater St. Louis is there every step through emotional and physical challenges to help those affected to find the hope they need, and all programs and services are free. You can help by supporting CSC's annual fundraising campaign, Hope After Dark. Y98's Julie Tristan will MC the event on October 6th at Palm Health. For complete information, visit cancersupportstl.org. That's cancersupportstl.org.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Hi there, it's John Hancock for First Mid Bank and Trust. They're a community-focused organization. They put so much money back into the communities where they serve. They've been around for 157 years. If you're looking for a bank, check them out. They got 19 locations here in the greater St. Louis area. Plenty of small business professionals to work with. They got insurance experts. Whether you're saving for your first home, paying off debt, or planning for retirement, First Mid Bank is the place for you. Go check them out online, firstmid.com. You'll be glad you did.
Hey friends, it's Mott's Matt for Brew Pub Pizza. These days are filled with uncertainty. The ups, the downs, the questions that don't seem to have answers. Well, one thing, however, that remains consistent is the deliciousness of a Brew Pub Lots of Matzo Pizza. The award-winning mozzarella cheese, the thin, crispy crust, complemented by just the right amount of flavorful sauce and high-quality ingredients. Brew Pub pizzas are the personification of pizza perfection. So stop by your local grocery store, hit up the frozen pizza section, and snag a Brew Pub Lots of Matzo Pizza for dinner today.
We're all on this planet together, so join Odyssey and find your one thing. Fruits and vegetables are very environmentally friendly foods. Make them even more friendly by eating them in season and choosing produce that is local and organic. Shopping at farmers markets are a great way to do both, and you can also start growing fruits and vegetables in your own garden. Even if you live in an apartment, you can start with a few potted plants. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
If you own investment rental properties and you've been thinking about selling, we are very interested. The market is very strong. We've been very aggressive with our offers. So if you own a package of single-family houses that you'd like to sell, or one single-family rental property you'd like to sell, apartments or commercial investment property, please reach out and we can provide you a very simple transaction. Klamengroup.com, KLAMEN Group.com, 314-946-9999, 946-9999, buying in Missouri and Illinois.
Are you tired of paying fees and commissions year after year, even when you lose your money? How would you like to decrease fees and limit your risk? Join me, Ben Coons, for the Retirement and Income Radio Show, heard here every Saturday at 3 p.m. on KMOX Radio. You can also call me now for your complimentary retirement and income book at 844-513-SAFE. That's 844-513-7233.
Carol Daniel for Ophthalmology Associates. For the best eye doctors, you need to see the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Online at youridoc.com or 314-966-5000.
Join the Foundation Fighting Blindness at the St. Louis Vision Walk on Saturday, October 1st at Creve Coeur Lake Park to help find cures to diseases that cause blindness. Visit visionwalk.org.
Right now is the perfect time to call Zero Res to deep clean and refresh your carpets, air ducts, upholstery, and more. Call 314-474-2020 to get 3 rooms Zero Res clean starting just $129 and take $75 off your air duct cleaning. ZeroResSTL.com.
Stress and anxiety reactions following disasters can be challenging. If you were impacted by the recent floods, show me hope, because help is available. Find resources and local providers at moshowmehope.org. Brought to you by the Missouri Department of Mental Health.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444. They're back.
3 best friends. Yeah, the 3 amigos. Yeah.
Kevin, Chris, and Amy. The show.
All right, coming up on the top of the hour here on the show, Chris Ron, Jamie Marks, of course, Kevin Wheeler with you here. After the news, we're going to talk about how old we are, not chronologically, but psychologically.
Oh.
And what the gap is for the 3 of us in the room. And for you, if you'd like to, you can text us 314-436-7900. Text your actual age, what age you actually feel like you behave like, your psychological age,
Just
and then
how
why
old
you
you
think
feel.
that is. Some of it's how old you feel, but and don't be physical about it. It's not necessarily about how you feel physically, because on a different day I might feel 70. Today I feel like I'm about 45 physically.
Don't you think it's the
but
whole
mentally,
package?
I'm
I think
always
it probably is. Yeah. I
It's
can see
the
what you're
whole
saying.
package.
I will be answering for everybody in the room.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
how do you guys feel about accents? And what I mean by accents is, do you hate really weird ones,
I
or
wish
do you
I had
like
an
them?
accent.
You don't,
you do.
because neither.
I do. I would.
You
I,
have
Somebody from the South would say you have a Midwestern accent.
Yeah, but
it's
dull.
considered non-regional diction. That's what it is. You don't have any. None of us in this room really have much of a.
Yeah,
Like it's just a
flat.
very flat.
Yeah,
Yes.
very flat.
Yeah. It's baseline.
I would take a Rosetta Stone course on the Boston accent.
So
I love the Boston accent.
Here, let me tell you a thing about the Boston accent, and I love it too. I think it's fantastic.
It's awesome. It's
the
arrogant.
Boston,
It's perfect.
the Boston, like the Massachusetts, Rhode
Mhm,
Island, where I
mhm.
was, like that whole area right there. There, the first time I went and got off an airplane, and the first person I talked to in an airport had it. Well, I'm like, hey, where's the bathroom? I'm like, it's right down there. And I'm like, oh my God. And then the cab driver had it. Like, you all
Yes.
have it.
Yes.
It's just nobody is immune from it. But like here in St. Louis, not everybody's got that. Not everybody here says "warsh."
Ugh.
You only get a few people who say that.
I think it's older generations.
Well, how is it in Boston where everybody has it? It's unbelievable.
I love it.
I'm just not stunned.
Of course.
No, of course not, Kevin. I already knew about that. I knew about accents.
I just don't have a take. That's all. I don't have a take on accents.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at ThrottleNet. These are the genius IT guys that I've been representing for years and years now. We are number one all the time. Best in customer service from Small Business Monthly. Best in cybersecurity, again, Small Business Monthly. We have an average response time. I love this statistic. The average response time in St. Louis in 2020 by IT companies. You have a problem, you reach out to them, hey, I'm all shut down, help me. It was 3 hours. If you got back within 3 hours, you were cool. Ours was 1 minute, 57 seconds, and the guys were very unhappy with that. It takes less than 2 minutes for us to address your problems. Here's a huge thing. We are now offering $500,000 in ransom protection to everyone who uses us. This is part of the deal. You don't pay extra for it. So if you happen to be hit and you have to pay, we're going to pay it up to $500,000. Now, this shows you how confident we are because no one under our protection has ever had to pay. Go to throttlenet.com/DGS.
Yes, with inflation, interest rate increases, and a possible recession looming, we are no doubt facing uncertain times in the housing market. But as a realtor with over 20 years of experience, I can tell you, if you're thinking of selling your home, now more than ever, you need a realtor to help you through these times while saving you money. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty, and we offer all of this for only 4%. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444.
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
At Miller Furniture, we've taken the guesswork out of mattress shopping by hand selecting the perfect mattress for every sleep style. Choose from locally handcrafted mattresses like Spring Air and Chatham and Wells. Stop by one of our 3 Miller Furniture sleep centers in Belleville, Lake St. Louis, or Ellisville to find out which mattress fits your sleep style. For the first time ever, we're offering our maximum 25% discount. All you have to do is mention this ad. Miller Furniture, delivering luxury sleep for less since 1927.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR St. Louis.
The legendary voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE and frustrated taking pills that don't work, Paramount Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that effectively treat your problem. 98% of patients experience immediate results during their first office visit. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Brown. The physicians at Paramount Men's Medical Center offer the most advanced treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Guys, to eliminate your frustration in the bedroom, call Paramount Men's Medical Center now to take advantage of this exclusive limited-time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free, and you'll see instant results right in the office. Call now, 314-720-8081. 314-720-8081. That's 314-720-8081.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 12 noon, it's a sunny sky and 69 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour. More questions today about what led to the ouster of Jeff Rorta, the outspoken business manager of the St. Louis Police Officers Association. KMOX's Kevin Killeen has the latest.
One of his longtime critics, Alderwoman Megan Green, says Jeff Rorta was so inflammatory he could change the feeling of a room just by walking into it. The Police Officers Association isn't saying much about why they let his contract expire, except that it was time to move in a new direction. At this time, the union is negotiating with the mayor's office for a new contract on benefits and a pay hike. And Rorta said in a statement he was let go to appease Mayor Tashara Jones.
As Hurricane Ian bears down on Florida, people are stocking up on supplies.
I'm Peter King in Orlando. The shopping carts are rolling out of this Home Depot store full of supplies, which appear to be in good supply.
Water tarps, some tie downs, extension cords, standard stuff.
Any trouble finding the stuff you needed today?
Actually, no.
Even batteries and plywood, which these men were loading into their van. Peter King, CBS News, Orlando.
Gas prices are high in some areas, not as high in others. Tom Kloza, global head of energy analysis with the Oil Price Information Service, explains where prices stand.
California, absolutely above $6 again. Gulf Coast, I know there's a lot of chatter about the hurricane and what ifs, but I don't think it's really going to impact gasoline prices like other hurricanes do.
St. Louis GasPrices.com says the regional average is $3.37 a gallon. The recommended caseload is 18 children per caseworker. In Missouri, it's double that. Clara Bates with the Missouri Independent says more than half the frontline staff in the Missouri Children's Division have left their jobs in the past year. Matt Cordova told her he had 80 open child abuse cases.
He only got paid around $35,000 a year, but was expected to be on call for a week at a time because he lived in a circuit that covered 4 rural counties. So it is common to hear of people dealing with being so overwhelmed. It's about the pay, I think, but also about the time.
The head of the Children's Division, Daryl Missy, says Missouri's pay is about $10,000 less than surrounding states, and they're trying to hire more people while others keep leaving. Leaks on Russian gas pipelines raise worries over sabotage.
A series of unusual leaks on 2 natural gas pipelines running from Russia under the Baltic Sea to Germany have triggered concerns about sabotage, overshadowing the inauguration of a long-awaited pipeline that will bring Norwegian gas to Poland to bolster Europe's energy independence from Moscow. Sweden's National Seismic Network says it recorded 2 explosions that occurred on Monday near the leaks in the Russian gas pipelines. The Polish Prime Minister has called the events an act of sabotage, while his Danish counterpart said she couldn't rule it out. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
The First Mid Bank and Trust Business Desk. Lumber prices have fallen to their lowest level in more than 2 years, bringing 2x4s back to what they cost before the pandemic building boom. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
The surging price of lumber pushed the price up of an average new single-family home by more than $35,000 from April of 2020 to April of 2021. The price of 2x4s almost tripled from the pre-pandemic record, which was a warning sign that inflation and supply chains would be a core issue in the COVID recession's recovery.
The Dow from Stifel down 182 points to 29,078. The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Debris on 70 West at Grand and debris 44 East past Park Avenue. The center lane there is closed.
What another wonderful afternoon, all about sunshine on this Tuesday. 72 for the high. Tonight, clear skies, 60s this evening. Chilly overnight, 42. Wednesday, sunny. Coolest day of the week is Wednesday, 68. Wednesday night, clear skies and 40 degrees. Could be some spotty frost away from the city Wednesday night, Thursday morning. Thursday and Friday, sunshine and 70. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray for the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sunny 68 Florissant, 70 St. Peter's, 69 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Sponsored by Mosby Building Arts.
Mosby Building Arts here, suggesting everyone stand back and take a good hard look at your front door. Is it lacking curb appeal? Could a thief easily break in? Is it so old it's falling apart? If you answered yes to any of these questions, give Mosby Building Arts a call for a front door makeover.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444.
12:05 on the show. Chris Ranji, Amy March, course, Kevin Wheeler. Literally seconds before we went on the air, Amy turns and Ranjan's like, I hate your stupid face.
No. She said she hated my stupid, dumb, fat face.
Oh.
But I said it in love.
By the way, this is perfect for the topic, too. Like how old we are
This
psychologically.
That's because he called me weird. Or
because you just
are.
started eating out of a... Okay. Amy's snack is chocolate chips.
It's
not
a
chocolate chip
bag
cookies.
of Ghirardelli.
Not chocolate chip muffins. She has a bag of chocolate chips that are supposed to go into cookies, and she's eating it like that.
I gotta admit, that's not a terrible thing.
Thanks.
Get a regular chocolate, you weirdo.
Go get a friend.
You know what?
So in this room, we're clearly still 12.
Yeah, I am
psychologically.
I am so ready to be done being friends with you. I'm ready.
Well, you are contractually obligated for at least a year.
I know. If you're if you were my last friend, I would be happier going without any at all. If that was my choice. I'm just kidding. I think you're great. Now get wrecked. All right, what are we talking about?
I don't know
Well,
why.
I mean, we're actually proving the point of the discussion, but
Yeah.
the
I
question,
actually feel mature for my age.
the question is how old you are in your head compared to how old you are on the calendar,
Yeah.
and what the discrepancy is. So we've got some people chiming in. If you'd like to chime in with us, 314-436-7900. You can also go 314-944-1120 if you'd like to tell us a little bit about it. So, like, psychologically, Amy is 70.
Oh, God, minimum.
That's not what I feel in my head.
Well, that's how you talk.
No, I feel like I am a certain age. I just live in a different era, but I don't feel 70. I feel like a younger person living in 1891. I don't know. I just feel like let me tell you what I feel. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm 39 years old. This is my last year in my 30s. I feel 30 years old. But here's the thing. I have always felt 30 years old. When I was 5, I thought I was 30. When I was 15, I thought I was 30. When I was 30, I was 30. And now I'm 39 and I still feel 30.
I do think you're about an 1891 39-year-old because an 1891 39-year-old was very close to death.
That was a grandma by then.
That was you were a grandmother.
Now, I know I have old-timey tastes, but just like as far as being an adult, you're 30, you're an adult, you have independence. But I think one reason why I feel 30, even though I'm like 39, is like I don't have kids. I'm not married. And I think that makes me feel younger than if I had a whole family, right?
Yeah, I think it does.
My friends who are 40, I have a friend who's 42. We homeschooled together, and her son is graduating from high school. And to me, that makes her seem much older than I am.
I have friends younger than me,
Mhm.
and I'm 45. I have friends younger than me who have kids who are well into college.
Yeah.
And and I think 1 or 2 of them have somebody who's graduated. I mean, aside from Kevin, but I mean like my peers, people that I grew up with. That's wild to me because I didn't do the family thing, and a lot of people do it very, very early, and I just did not do that. So I think I feel, because I know that I'm 45.
Mhm.
I know what my age is. I can't not think about that when I give you what I feel like I am. Because normally, if I didn't know what my age was, I'd say I'm 27.
Yeah.
But because I know I'm 45, I think the best I could do is 34.
You feel 34?
I feel like I'm about 34. And I think that's the absolute best that I can give you. But it's because I can't separate the fact that I know that I'm in my mid-40s.
See, I can. I feel 30, and I'm not kidding. You can talk to Mrs. Mark Scores. When I was 2.
Can we talk to you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not Mrs. Mark Scores.
No, I said, can we talk to her?
Yes.
Yeah, I would love to.
Yes.
That'd be fun.
I
On the radio,
acted much older when I was, 15. I got along with older people. I just always felt like I was 30 years old. I was very serious. And again, now that I'm 39, I still feel 30. And I take in the like I said, the whole package, mental, psychological, physical. I feel like I'm sure in a few years, the physical side is going to hit me a little bit harder than it is right now, but I'm still running a lot. I still feel pretty active. So I don't feel as old as I remember 40 seeming when I was younger. 40 was like over the hill. You have the black balloons, the tombstone, the birthday party that says RIP.
You're just proving that you lived in 1891.
No.
I
even did that for my dad.
It's interesting to listen to it because my mom and dad were 42 when they had my daughter. Or my sister, sorry. When they had my little sister. 42. They didn't seem old. They didn't act old. They had a baby, and they raised that baby, and they were hanging out with and doing all the same things that the 30-year-old parents were doing.
The birthday cards have the over the hill. You don't even remember those themes, the over the hill, the black
jokes.
Birthday decorations. They're jokes because 40 is supposed to be old, and everything was, RIP, Halloween.
Well, I remember being a kid and my dad having that party and thinking, man, this guy's ancient.
Right.
And that's like 5 years ago for me.
Yeah.
Which is very odd. But also, I lived in I was gone for 14, almost 15 years from this area. And where I lived, the mindset's very different. Like, people don't get out of college and immediately start getting engaged and have babies. Like, they don't do that where I lived. Here, it's like people go to that part a lot quicker in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
People get to the marriage thing much, much faster. They get to the family thing a whole lot faster. And by the time you're 30, a great number of people you know in this area, in the St. Louis area, and it's not just St. Louis, but it's like this whole region, I think, they are having families very, very quickly. In Chicago, they're not. There are a lot of people who, maybe if you live in the suburbs, but if you live in the city, there are not a ton of people who by the age of 30 have a couple of kids already.
Mm-hmm.
I think people that want to live a certain way just go to those places because the way you want to live, it's there.
I mean,
The
whatever
bars
it is,
the bars are there, the restaurants are there.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a characteristic of a region. I think it's characteristic of a particular community spot where people said, all the cool things we like are here, and we're not doing the family thing, so we want all these things.
I mean, that could be
I don't
part
think
of
it's
it.
a Chicago thing or a St. Louis thing.
Well,
just think
I mean,
it's
there's
about, like
9 million
what
people
group
up
you
there. I
belong
think
to.
I think it's part of both, because you kind of do what people around you do. And most of the people I knew were kind of from that area. Like, so I think it's what your mindset is when you grow
You
up
look
as
at
well.
People who grew up in Chicago versus people who grew up in rural Missouri, you're going to see a difference in the average age of getting married and starting a family. You just are.
Yeah.
We could look that up.
Yeah. I think we have. I don't have the receipt in front of me because I'm a big fan of receipts, but I'm pretty sure Charlie and I have talked about this and I have the data because it's not anything groundbreaking. I mean, it makes sense psychologically. Like Ron said,
you hang with people that are of a like mind. I mean, that's normal. I mean, if your group is that way, I mean, it's either because you all see things kind of the same way, or when you're together a lot, you do adopt things from the people that you're around. It becomes a part of your identity.
How old do you feel?
18.
And you are?
50.
You act 18.
Yeah,
I know.
I believe it.
Your pranks are 18-ish.
They are very much so.
Yeah.
And your t-shirts.
And the t-shirts.
Yeah.
Everything. Everything. I mean, but like, I don't really care one way or the other. Like, I'm not trying to make it be that way.
No, you don't seem like you're trying.
It just is.
We have a
I'm not trying at all when it comes to the other things. I mean, so I meant to bring this up yesterday, but I forgot to. But over the weekend, we had the Glennon Gallup, right, for Cardinal Glennon.
Yes.
It's a big polo match out at the August Busch Polo facility in Defiance. It's a brilliant thing. Obviously, we do a lot of work with Cardinal Glennon, and I'll be doing some stuff along with Mark Reardon and a few other people here at our Odyssey stations for the Tree of Hope campaign leading into the holidays, looking for the donations. And this is a big event. It is a beautiful event. It's amazing. Everybody wears white or khaki. It's real. Everybody's dressed to the nines, and then I show up
in your coaching pullover,
cornholio t-shirt.
It's the 18-year-old. No. Listen, I dressed up, okay, because I put on pants.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Kevin doesn't usually do the show in pants,
and as opposed to shorts, Amy.
Okay.
Why you got to go there? And I was wearing a shirt that happened to have a collar on it.
Okay.
Which means I was dressed up.
Yeah.
And I look around when I get there and I'm like, well, I'm the most underdressed again.
This is shocking that Kevin Wheeler is not the polo crowd.
I'm not the any crowd when it comes
I
to
saw you in a
grown-up things.
polo. When did I see you in a polo?
On picture day, when both of you looked
no, it wasn't a polo.
super cute.
He did have a collar.
Yeah.
You got a collared shirt on.
I have a few of
That
them.
was it. Yeah.
But my point was, I'm looking around, and like everybody that was there, including Tom Ackerman. Tom was there with his wife Angie. They were all dressed up. Everybody's all in white, like all white suits. Everybody looks amazing.
Yep.
And I'm like, hey guys, hey. I don't have anything white. I don't have anything. I was wearing black tennis shoes.
They didn't want to let him in.
That's what I had.
That a boy. I love how you're you. You know?
Mean, what am I going to do? I honestly don't care if anybody judges. They can judge all they want. I don't care.
We have a couple
and
of
I
texters.
never really have.
314-436-7900 to text the show. One person says, I was called the oldest 35-year-old after buying life insurance and getting a will.
Oh,
but that's
I
smart.
like that person. Good for
That's
you.
planning ahead.
That's planning ahead.
But having that kind of foresight is something that's a little bit, more for an older crowd.
And another person is here to save you, Amy.
Oh, okay.
Here to save the day.
Okay.
It says, OMG, Chris sucks. He is such an a-hole to Amy.
Was that my mom?
And then I said, and then I responded.
Stop
hold
picking on my baby.
I responded to this person And I said, she told me I had a dumb, fat face. Because you did.
I know I did. I didn't say
And then this person says, I've heard you before. I usually change the station after you say something insulting to her. By the way, nice texting while the show's going on. Do you want to see my response?
Yeah.
I can multitask. Amy isn't smart enough to do that. Hey, we lost a listener. We lost a listener.
You are a big
my
fat jerk.
My dumb fat face cost us a listener. Oh no. Now what are we gonna do?
I am still stunned that people don't get sarcasm, smartassy friends picking on each other.
No, they don't.
Like, how do you not get that?
Well, here's what I've been trying
Hurts
to
my
tell you.
feelings.
No, you don't have any.
It hurts my feelings, and I cry usually most of the days.
Do not. The listeners, Kevin, get it. Some of the texters do not.
That's fair.
And the texters are like 1% of the audience.
It's still stunning, though, that grown people don't
come
get
on,
the
man.
dynamic. Like, do you not? You can text me if you'd like, 314-436-700. Who doesn't make fun of their friends? Who doesn't pick on their friends? Who doesn't
Mother
do that?
Teresa
I
probably
bet
didn't.
Mother Teresa's, yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Amy's scholar friends probably don't.
Oh, no, they make fun of me.
Yeah, because you're weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, maybe that's the sign of the whole psychological immaturity, but I mean, I thought that's what everybody does.
Yeah.
All my friends, we all make fun of each other. That's what we do.
It's really hard to make fun of your friends when you're just busy the whole time when you're hanging out citing academic journals.
I know.
Because that's what you guys
But she
do.
made fun of you. She said you have a big,
She
fat,
didn't,
dumb
yeah.
face.
Well, I'm not a scholar.
Big fat dumb face. No, big dumb fat face. I
Oh,
think.
I don't know.
Whatever. You called me dumb and fat.
No, I didn't call you fat. It's
I would
like
say-
like a big fat check, like that.
I would say in closing, most people probably
Make
think-
fun of your friends.
Think that they're at least feel like they're 15 or so years younger than they actually
We need
are.
to get
I
people
don't.
to
Yeah,
text in
that's a good question. Do you feel older than you are or younger than you are?
314-436-7900.
And at the show KMOX on Twitter, I'm going to tweet the poll. Tweet the poll.
Well, the past couple of years have been tough for business owners. And if you feel like you could use a little bit of a break, I've got a website for you. GetRefunds.com. That's right. GetRefunds.com. If your business has 5 or more employees and managed to survive COVID, you could be eligible to receive a payroll tax rebate of up to $26,000 per employee. Now, this isn't a loan. There's no payback. It's simply a refund of your taxes. And the hard part is getting your hands on it. You know, there can be a lot of red tape. It can seem confusing. Well, go to getrefunds.com. The team of tax attorneys they've put together are highly trained in this little known payroll tax refund program. And they've already returned $1 billion to businesses, and they can help you too. They do all the work. There's no charge up front. They simply share a percentage of the cash that they get for you. And businesses of all types can qualify, including those who took PPP, nonprofits, and even those that had an increase in sales. To find out if your business qualifies, go to getrefunds.com.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to The Dave Glover Show and all the news, talk, sports, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
Trish Gazelle for Ophthalmology Associates. For the best eye doctors, you need to see the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Online at yourEyeDoc.com or 314-966-5000.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Marilyn Facer recommends 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Working with Dave was an absolute delight. Once everything was scheduled, everything went perfect.
Have you ever had a remodel done before?
About 25 years ago, and it was a nightmare.
Was 3-Day Kitchen and Bath on time?
There was no delays. Everything was on time. All the deadlines were met. Everything came at once.
Would you recommend 3-Day Kitchen and Bath to your friends and neighbors?
I highly recommend them to anybody.
Top quality products and craftsmanship in 3 days or less. Call 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. Always on time as promised, at the price promised, and your job comes with complete satisfaction guarantee. No ifs, ands, or buts. Visit their website at 3daykitchen.com. That's 3daykitchen.com.
3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
It's easy to think all money managers are pretty much the same, but at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different? How? You sell high commission investment products, right?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission-based investment products.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
Nope, never at Fisher. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in our client's best interest. It's the highest standard of care for a financial advisor.
How do you know what's in their best interest?
We get to know our clients and then tailor a portfolio based on their goals and needs.
But you probably sneak in some hidden and layered fees.
No, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, you really do look out for your clients.
That's because our top priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. It might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments and securities involve the risk of loss.
If you own a house in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is, without any inspections or the need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes St. Louis at 314-328-8000 or at chrisbuyshomes.louis.com and get your cash offer without any obligations, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant houses, inherited houses, fixer-uppers, beautiful houses, even the tenant won't pay the rent apartment. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis, and check out the best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to chrisbuyshomesinstlouis.com. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis or call 314-328-8000. That's 314-328-8000. Call Chris and get the offer you've been waiting for. Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis.com. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis.com or call 314-328-8000.
We go where you go. 1120 AM, 98.7 FM, KMOX.com.
At 12:24 on the show, Amy, Chris, and Kevin hanging out, making fun of each other during the break. That's what we do.
Quit being mean.
Don't be mean to each other.
She's looking at a dumb fat face.
We're just grown people, man. That's what we do. So if you don't believe it, go to the show, like at the show KMOX. Look at a couple of the pictures. Look how friendly we look. Well, the one Amy's smiling and the two of us are not. So
I feel like I look
example.
friendly. I mean, you guys, it's not my fault if the listeners, feel bad for me that I cry after every show.
You
Because
don't cry.
Because you guys are mean to me.
Wait, we have a poll now, by the way, if you want to vote on kind of how you are psychologically that we were talking about last segment, how old you are in your head versus how old you actually are. So you got three choices there: about your age, several years younger, several years older. You can vote at the show KMOX, and I just retweeted it. Ron retweeted it. Amy did too. So a lot of ways you can vote. Please vote.
And
Just
also,
curious. I have a theory that most people will say they feel younger than they are.
Well, also, I'd like to know why. I mean, you can just vote if you want to, but if you want to respond with a reason you feel the way you feel, let us know.
So
That's interesting because I don't know. I wouldn't have guessed most people feel younger. I would think that most people wish they were.
See, I feel like everybody I talk to still identifies more with their younger self. Like, I don't know anybody that says, yep, you know what? I'm 40 or 50, but I feel like I'm 60.
I don't know. I
Because
think
here's
after
the thing.
COVID, there will be people who say they just feel worn out and older. I'm not even joking.
Yeah, no, I think you're probably right.
I think part of it is we don't know what an age feels like until we're there. And we have an expectation in our head. It's kind of what you were talking about, Amy. And I think Ron, you mentioned, like, you used to think when you were young that 40 seemed super old. And then when you got to 40, you're like, it's really not that much different than 30, really. I mean, it's not. And like, I don't know what 60 feels like. I can't identify with it. I know what 30 feels like. I know what 18 feels like. That's what's in my head because I know it already.
I think the bad feelings about age a lot of times happen when you aren't doing, you're not in line with a lot of your peers, where maybe you're not at the same point in your life is like having a family, having this, having a good job, whatever it is. I think that then you can start to feel pressure from people around you who are like, why don't you have that? Why don't you have kids yet? Why are you still waiting tables right now? Why are you still a bartender?
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. I think that
that's
can
true.
happen.
And they can put that type of pressure about like your job. When I remember working retail when I was 25, 26, customers would say, is this what you want to do with your life? Who are you that you would ask that of somebody?
People are really rude about that.
People are so rude. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. Also, I think it has to do with maybe some people, say you were a stud athlete at 28 and then you, for whatever reason, are not there anymore. You let yourself go or life got in the way, whatever it is. You may look back and think, oh man, I was really fit then. Do you remember the Iron Gym? Is it Iron Gym? The commercials where the guy would go, I'm 40 and I'm in the best shape of my life. Do you remember that guy?
I don't.
He would do, like, on Saturdays, it would be those extra long commercials. At any rate, people would say, oh, that guy's lying. No one's in the best shape of their life at 40. I think I am. Like,
I don't think nobody is a good answer for anything.
That's
Some people are, because if you were totally out of shape when you were
Right.
30, you could easily be in the best shape of your life at 40.
I wasn't out of shape, but I just think I'm in better shape now.
I was doing things in training at 45 that I couldn't do at 25.
There you go.
Could not do it.
Yeah.
Had a good trainer, spent the time on it, and at 45, I could do things I couldn't do at 25.
A texter says, one of my barometers is the amount of gray hair I see in the annual Christmas picture. I get that feeling too.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God,
And
where did those come from?
So far on the text line, every answer is feeling significantly younger than they actually are. 314-436-7900. Plus, vote on the poll at the show KMOX on Twitter.
There aren't many things I'm good at, but I was born with a talent for start. It's like the difference between poking someone with your finger a little bit and punching them as hard as you can. And that is what it feels like in the world where everyone is just rearing back and throwing haymakers so that 18 people will like their tweet. And there's a possibility it goes viral because I was so mean or I was so this or so that. And personally, it just kind of like, ugh.
A little snark and a whole lot more. The Dave Glover Show, weekdays at 2 on KMOX.
Tom Ackerman for Building Community with Busey Bank, a podcast series easily accessible at KMOX.com/community banking. This summer, the Little Bit Foundation lost their huge warehouse and headquarters in the flood. It's both a heartbreaking and inspirational story, with Busey and the community helping. Listen to our September podcast, Building Community with Busey Bank, at KMOX.com/community banking.
Carol Daniel here. Leslie Gill, president of Rung for Women, addresses the gender wage gap in our latest episode of PNC C-Speak, the language of executives. She advises employers to stop asking applicants for their previous salary and post the range. PNC C-Speak provides digital storytelling from a C-level perspective on relevant, forward-thinking business approaches. Listen to our 14-minute podcast with Leslie Gill at KMOX.com/PNC C-Speak. PNC C-Speak, the language of executives.
Hey, it's Trish Gazelle for Ophthalmology Associates, the office of Dr. Greg Birdie, Dr. Ranjan Malhotra, Dr. Robert Brusati, and Dr. Andy Royer. I went there 20 years ago, over 20 years ago, for my LASIK procedure. Couldn't be happier 20 years later. They are the doctors, and that's their nickname because they have treated more than 250 doctors, more than any other practice. And Dr. Birdie and Dr. Malhotra are cornea surgeons and experts in diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the eye, dry eye, allergy eyes, cataracts, macular degeneration, glaucoma, and LASIK surgery. Call for an appointment today. Drs. Greg Birdie, Dr. Ranjan Malhotra, Dr. Robert Brusati, and Dr. Andy Royer, 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com. They're located off Manchester Road, 12990 Manchester Road, a half mile west of 270 on eastbound Manchester Road. Again, for more information, call Ophthalmology Associates at 314-966-5000 or go to youridoc.com.
At 12:30, it's sunny and 70 degrees downtown at the Arch. This just in, DeJuan Ferguson has been sentenced to life in prison without parole after being found guilty in the death of his 9-year-old disabled son. Christian Ferguson disappeared in June 2003. Christian had a rare medical condition and required constant care. He was never found. FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell is warning of a powerful Hurricane Ian due to make landfall in Florida, but says federal officials are working hard to help the state to respond.
And we have 3.7 million meals and 3.5 million liters of water that are staged in Alabama. There are also multiple volunteer organizations that are postured and prepared to support feeding operations as soon as it is safe to do so.
Explosions rattled the Baltic Sea before unusual leaks were discovered on 2 natural gas pipelines running underwater from Russia to Germany. Some European leaders and experts are pointing to possible sabotage during an energy standoff with Russia provoked by the war in Ukraine. Debris on 70 West at Grand. Debris on 44 East past Park Avenue in the center lane. Stall 270 South at 340 on the right shoulder and 270 North at Gravois on the right shoulder. Weather is sponsored by Midwest Money. Dave Murray says plenty of sunshine today with the high 72. Clear sky overnight, the low 42. It's not all about money at Midwest Money. Come see the spectacular model railroad train layout the first Sunday of every month. It's free. Come one, come all to Midwest Money. And while you're there, walk across the street and check out the coin shop at Midwest Money. 70 degrees, a sunny sky downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from thegelmanteam.com. If you want immediate cash for your home or to see what your home is actually worth in today's market, find out for free from the local experts. That's my friends Mark and Neil Gelman at thegelmanteam.com.
Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
What do you have for us today, Charlotte?
Charlotte is the little sister of the Tooth Fairy. Charlotte is the Junk Fairy.
If you have stuff in your shed that you haven't used in the past 12 months,
yes,
you're not storing stuff, you've got junk.
Turn your storage shed into a shed that you can use again.
Give yourself some space to maneuver.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Do your homework. Check us out on the Better Business Bureau and Angie's List. Hi, I'm Chuck Easter with Easter Fence Deck and Renovations. We can stand the scrutiny and encourage it. Don't just look at the ratings, but read the reviews. You'll find that we are who we say we are, a company that is focused on doing what's right every time. We never cheat, and we never cut corners. With Easter, your fence, deck, sunroom, or awning project will be completed with unmatched craftsmanship and at a fair price. Call 314-892-8500 or easterfence.com.
Get this. 42% of baby boomers don't even know how much money they have in their nest egg. If you're not sure where you stand in terms of getting ready for retirement, you should be listening to the All Financial Hour with Steve All.
Let's sit down and talk about your questions, because I think that's the most important thing that it is out there. It's what questions do you have?
Saturday mornings at 7, right here on KMOX.
Keep up with all things Cardinals with Cardinals Conversations. Hear pre- and post-game shows. The latest from the manager and the front office. How Albert's doing.
Home run, Albert Pujols.
The replays of Live by Lowe's and much more. Cardinals Conversations. Available now on the podcast page at KMOX.com.
The pitch by Waino. Albert is hit high and deep. A home run for Harrison Bader. Yadier Molina has homered. Double play. It's a big fly for Albert Pujols. A home run in the first inning for Goldie.
This is the Redbirds Report.
Welcome back to the show. Amy Mark scores alongside Chris Ranji and Kevin Wheeler. And I decided to take over the Redbird Report today.
Oh, we're doing Redbird Report?
Yeah.
We were out there asking Carol and Brad and Jane how old they felt. And Michael Calhoun. So it devolved into this huge conversation.
This is shocking with the two of you, that somehow you would distract the newsroom from the important business that they have to do.
And then forget about this.
And forget about the current show on the air.
Sure did. Well, it's a thing that people apparently have very strong opinions about how old
We
you
need to
feel.
bring them in.
We should
After
bring
the
all of them
Redbird
in.
Report, we
And
need to
then-
bring in the newsroom and ask them.
I know we're talking Cardinals here, but give us a second.
Yeah.
I also have another follow-up question
Okay.
that maybe we get into tomorrow.
Okay. Can I hear
And that
it?
is, how old do you wish you were? Because I'm curious to know if there is anybody out there other than like a 6-year-old who wishes they were older. I can't imagine anybody wishes they were actually older.
I think you stop wishing you were older when you turn
The-
10.
Maybe 16, because you can drive. And as soon as you can drive, you're 21.
Yeah.
It's probably 21 for a lot of people, and that's the last time they wish they were
Okay.
older.
So far, just as an update, while Kevin orients himself. And
I was talking to Carol Daniel. I'm sorry.
Yeah. How old do you feel? We have 103 votes so far at the show KMOX on Twitter. 28% say about my age. 38% say several years younger. 34% say several years older. So
It's kinda
pretty down the
close.
middle.
Yeah, it's kind of close.
The
I'm a
thirds,
little surprised.
Down the
Yeah.
thirds.
Because almost everybody I know feels younger. We were just talking about in the newsroom. Nobody out there just said, "Yep, I feel my age" or "I feel older."
Except for Jane, who is 23.
Yeah, right.
I love Jane.
She's great.
Jane does great work.
Yeah, she's 23 and would absolutely be the most mature person in this room if she was in this room right now.
Oh, there's any question about that.
I'm mature.
No, you're old. It's different.
There is a difference. That's a good point. She's old, but without the benefit of being mature.
Right.
Oh yeah, who brought in the Redbird report while the other two were gallivanting around the newsroom?
That's true. Amy did start the
Nicely done.
Yeah.
The,
Go ahead
the
and lead the conversation.
Well, I think Adam Wainwright's going to recover from dead arm. I think he is.
does he have dead arm?
He
Yeah.
does. He's been
No.
talking about it.
No.
Yeah.
Did you not hear about that in Rhode Island?
No, I totally unplugged. Except what did I tell you? I was at the bar
Yeah.
with no television while Albert hit 699 and 700. I missed both.
4 or 5 games now. Wainwright's got dead arm, so going into the playoffs, it's a giant
So if you
question
look at
mark.
September, 5.57 ERA in the month of September.
Yeah.
8 strikeouts in 21 innings and 38 base runners allowed.
Well, I
So
know
that is obviously,
Yeah.
and he was talking about it. So this is not like saying anything that he hasn't said already. Because
Yeah, I didn't make this up.
No,
No.
but he's the one saying, his exact quote was, "I need to be better if we're going to win the World Series."
that Amy Marks core is always throwing Cardinal stuff against the wall.
After the whole chess
Just trying to
club-
create controversy.
After the whole chess club thing, or the chess cheating controversy, I didn't want you to think I was also making this up. I didn't.
Oh,
make
wait.
up the
Oh,
other
you made
thing
up the
either.
chess thing,
No,
too?
I didn't make it up.
Okay.
I read the tweet from Elon Musk.
All right.
Yeah, probably should never do that. No, it's
No,
okay.
there's nothing of news value
Elon's
there.
he's just a troll.
Well, the effectiveness has been lower. I don't think there's any question. I had not heard him say that
Velo's
dead
down,
arm was
yeah.
the thing. And yeah, but a lot of people have been watching the velocity. And you're like, he's a mid 80s, low 80s. That doesn't look good. And that's one of the very first things that anybody looks at when you're trying to assess if a pitcher is healthy or feeling 100% is what their velo is. If it's down, a lot of times that's a really good indicator that they're not feeling right.
And it doesn't have to be down a lot. Even 2 or 3 miles an hour is
Yeah.
noticeable. And again, Waino did talked about it post game after his last start. Again, flat out said, I have to be better if we're going to win the World Series. The team needs me to be better than I've been. So there's a clear recognition that it's not what it needs to be. The numbers back that up. His words back it up. The only question is, how do you know, right? Like if he comes back and he has one more start scheduled.
Yeah.
If he has a really good start against Pittsburgh, does that mean you're fixed? If you have a bad start against Pittsburgh, does that change at all how you evaluate your rotation for the 3-game series to start the playoffs? I mean, most of me wants to say no, of course not. I mean, Waino's been arguably your best pitcher for the last 2.5 years. And for most of this season, he has been also your best pitcher, kind of right there with Miles Mikolas. So how much do you change how you view a rotation based on 1 month as opposed to the entirety of what the guy's been?
So my question is this with dead arm. Is dead arm always a bad start, or can you have 4 bad starts, 1 good start, 4 bad starts, 1 good with dead arm? Do you know what I mean? Does
Well,
a
yeah, I mean,
good
you could
start
always
mean it's done?
I mean, it's not a specific injury.
No, not
So
necessarily.
it can come and go. Like you can feel good on one day and not good on another day. That definitely happens.
I think to take that a step further, the real question is, can you in 10 days get rid of dead arm?
Yeah.
And that's the hope, is that they can manage it enough. He doesn't have to be throwing 80 or 90 pitches in any start here. Hell, you could do whatever you want because all you're trying to do is get through the final 10 games of the season or the final 10 days of the season. You don't have to scrape and fight and claw to get a playoff spot. You're in. You're going to be in here in a matter of a couple of days, if not tonight already.
If you win tonight, you're in.
Yeah. So
you won the division tonight.
You don't have to play till the very last day. You don't have to play your hearts out. You don't need to. You just need to get yourself healthy. So there seems to be, and there should be, plenty of time to get Wainwright feeling right before the playoffs begin.
Yeah. The problem with all of this that we're having the conversation about is it's not an exact science. It's not like, okay, you have a broken bone and it takes 4 to 6 weeks to heal. We know exactly how it's going to heal. We know exactly when the next progression is going to happen. Certain injuries, it's pretty much set in stone. It's going to work a certain way. This is not really even an injury. It's just kind of how you feel. Yeah. And tomorrow he could be 100%, but he may not be 100% in 3 weeks. It's really difficult to know. And I think the key about what you're hitting on, Ranj, is getting right. Right? This is about where Nolan Arenado is trying to get right. It's where Paul Goldschmidt's trying to get right, because Waino's not the only veteran guy that's not what he was a month ago.
Right.
I mean, Goldie's been okay this month, but he was dominant for 5 months. And he's not dominant guy now. He's just okay now.
Arenado
is really struggling in September, as opposed to the guy that was dominating in July and August. So these next 8 games, these next, however many days, the goal is for those guys to start to feel right, to get back to where they're feeling like they did 3 or 4 weeks ago. But it's an inexact science. You can try all the things you want. You may get it back. You may not. And we won't know until a week from Friday.
And it might all just fall into place
It can,
on
absolutely.
Friday.
Yeah.
The next, again, and we'll probably be saying this for the next week and a half over and over and over again, but it's okay to repeat it because it's important that the only real thing that matters in the next week and a half is getting as healthy as possible.
Yes.
And as much rest as possible. Not too much, but enough where everybody feels as close to 100%. Because that's the thing that will and can help production for certain guys if they're struggling, is if they feel rested. If you feel rejuvenated, you can have a bump in production. And again, just by virtue of the playoffs starting, sometimes that's just enough because it's a completely different beast when you get there.
Adrenaline boost.
Yep.
And
right now, you have a good couple of games, and the next thing you know, you're taking off.
Yeah. And the hard part is, again, none of it's an exact science, because people will argue rest versus rust. So if you rest too much, are you going to lose your edge? Well, I mean, there's no exact answer. You might. We everybody goes back to the 2006 World Series, and people are convinced that the extra days off hurt Detroit and helped the Cardinals. Maybe it did, but there have also been examples of people who have the time off and they come back and they dominate and they win the World Series, or they win the series that they're playing. There are people that don't get the rest, who play consistently, and instead of being rested, you're still ready. You're on your game and you lose. Like, it's all an unknown. You can come up with an idea that seems to make sense, but history will show you that there's no line in the sand that says this is definitely going to make you better.
Yeah.
But it is good to not have to push to the wire. It is good that they don't have to go all out for the next 8 days.
So a question would be, outside of Wainwright, let's just say outside of pitching, what is the biggest question facing the Cardinals heading into the postseason?
Pitching as a whole, or just the rotation?
Pitching as a whole. Take out pitching. When you're looking at the lineup.
Your big guys have to be your big guys.
And is that the question? Will Arenado and Goldschmidt snap out of the little funk that they're in?
The old Ken Hitchcock line: your best players need to be your best players, because in the postseason, the other team has those guys too. Right? I mean, when you're facing the Padres, they've got Juan Soto and Manny Machado. You obviously have Goldie and Arenado. Those guys. And by the way, not a coincidence that the offense slipped when those guys slipped, because that's how good they are. They're that, and those star players are going to be the guys you're going to need in the postseason.
It's the reason you have stars.
That's right. And it doesn't mean that the other guys can't play a big role. It doesn't mean that Albert can't, or that Yadi can't, or Corey Dickerson, or whatever. But every team has those big guys. And if your big guys are going, your chances are going to improve by a lot.
Well, we have a texter who says, and this kind of goes back to our dead arm conversation, that Joaquin Andújar had dead arm toward the end of the 1985 season, never came back. I don't recall the dead arm. I was pretty young when that season happened, so I don't recall the dead arm thing. There's a difference between, because he was 32, 33 at the time. There's a difference between being him and expecting that your career is going to go on. And his did for another couple of seasons after. So it wasn't like, he was totally done after that, though he never pitched quite as much. I think he threw 155 innings or something, and 155 innings the following season, and then was limited to 60 and then 78. What you're dealing with Wainwright is somebody who's at the tail end of his career. So I don't know if there's going to be any sort of worrying about next season for him, if you know what I mean. That for Wainwright, it could just be, and I'm not inside his head, so I don't know for sure, but it could just be him thinking, I'm going to max out for this postseason. So whatever I got to do to be ready for this postseason, because we're here now. I mean, he's played a long career. He doesn't have to worry about 2023 really, or 2024. I think for a guy who thought his career was done 4 years ago, the fact he's made it to this point, he's playing with house money. So I would think his whole mindset is be ready for this postseason, do whatever you have to do. And if you know what, it affects him next year a little bit, he's not going to be that worried about it, because he's not a 22-year-old pitcher. This is a guy who's nearing the end.
Most importantly, though, we have to be careful with comparing a label for some kind of physical injury, some kind of physical setback between 1985 and 2022. In 1985, they pretty much called everything dead arm.
Yeah, they didn't know.
It was a catch-all. They didn't know if it was a scapula. They didn't know if it was, the shoulder blade thing that Michael Wacha had. They didn't know. Like, we know more specifically now, and if there were a specific injury, we would know. It's just so that's part of the problem when you're looking at injury diagnosis from any previous generation. They were very general because it's all they knew.
Right.
And now sometimes this kind of thing can be misleading, right? Some people will use dead arm or general fatigue to maybe hide something else. I don't think that's what's happening here, because there's no reason to hide anything else.
No, not for him.
No.
That's not a guy playing for a contract.
No. And it's also a team that's not going to hide an injury just to put a guy on the postseason roster. If he's hurt, they're not going to pitch him.
Now, if
somebody else will pitch.
If you're a young pitcher and you're up for a contract and you're trying to make sure you maximize it, the last thing you want to do is give your team any sort of feeling that you've got a considerable injury that you're dealing with, because then you lose out on money.
Heading into free agency or whatever.
He just is not in that
It's
situation.
also really not his style. He's always been upfront about injuries throughout his career. I mean, I don't see why he's going to change now. He's
I'm not worried
the
about
real
that.
deal.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with Truehold. Truehold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. And Truehold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since Truehold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit Truehold.com and discover how much Truehold will buy your home for today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's Truehold.com.
Odyssey celebrates Hispanic Heritage Month and the trailblazers who made their mark worldwide. Edward James Olmos was born in East LA. Olmos was known for his work on Battlestar Galactica, Selena, Miami Vice, and Stand and Deliver. In 1998, James Olmos founded Latino Public Broadcasting and currently serves as chairman. Latino Public Broadcasting focuses on issues affecting Hispanics. For making a difference, Odyssey salutes Edward James Olmos on Hispanic Heritage Month. More on the Odyssey app, and celebrate the sounds and stories of Hispanic heritage at odyssey.com/HHM.
Hi, this is Ken. And Laurie Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
Join us Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
This is Debbie Monterey with a real estate update and some insight from my friend and trusted realtor, Gloria Liu, with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria told me that sitting on the sidelines may not be the best strategy moving forward in this continually shifting market. Homes aren't selling as quickly, and in most cases, price reductions are becoming pretty common. Gloria also said that earlier this year, with low inventory, sellers didn't need a strategy to sell homes because homes were listed and sold immediately. Now more than ever, it's crucial to have a proven strategy to get your home sold, and that's why I strongly suggest you call local real estate expert Gloria Liu before you list your home to get the absolute most money. Gloria is so confident that she will sell your home, she'll guarantee in writing upfront to sell it at your agreed-to price and time frame, or she'll buy your home herself. Learn more by calling Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or online at Gloria has-the-buyers.com.
This is Corey from Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling, here to tell you about an organization that is near to dear to our company and one we've been proud to sponsor, Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Greater St. Louis Honor Flight flies World War II, Korea, and Vietnam War veterans to Washington, D.C. for free to see their memorials. Greater St. Louis Honor Flight is looking for you. If you know of a veteran, please sign them up for their honor flight, or if you'd like to lend your support, visit gslhonorflight.org. And for all things heating and cooling, visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
Hey friends, it's Matt for Brew Pub Pizza. You know, these days are filled with uncertainty. The ups, the downs, the questions that don't seem to have answers. Well, one thing, however, that remains consistent is the deliciousness of a Brew Pub Lots of Mazza Pizza. The award-winning mozzarella cheese, the thin, crispy crust, complemented by just the right amount of flavorful sauce and high-quality ingredients. Brew Pub pizzas are the personification of pizza perfection. So stop by your local grocery store, hit up the frozen pizza section, and snag a Brew Pub Lots of Mazza Pizza for dinner today.
We're all on this planet together, so join Odyssey and find your one thing. September is World Ozone Month, so it's a great month to get rid of all your aerosol sprays and replace them with eco-friendly options. Also, check your air conditioner to make sure it doesn't have any leaks and schedule any necessary repairs or maintenance. And lastly, use your car less by walking or biking to close destinations. The ozone layer will thank you. Join Odyssey, and together each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
Charlie Brennan sees clearly thanks to Dr. Birdie and Malhotra. You can too. Go to youridoc.com today or call 314-966-5000. Get started with the Vision Walk today and form your Vision Walk team to raise money for a cure. For more information, go to visionwalk.org or call 314-852-7223. United Way of Greater St. Louis is celebrating a century of helping people in our region with essential needs, early childhood and youth success, health and well-being, jobs and financial mobility, and community stability and crisis response. Find out how you can help our community at helpingpeople.org.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444. Kevin, Amy, and Chris now.
Best friends together.
Dave Glover at 2 on KMOX.
So I continue to be stunned by the results of our polling, Raj. It is still right down the middle on the poll. So it's at the show KMOX. We posted the poll a few minutes ago from the topic about how old do you feel compared to how old you are. And I'm shocked, not that one is leading, that there's no difference. There's an exact tie between people saying they feel older than they are versus younger than they are.
Yeah, that's interesting to me too. I didn't think it would be this close with all of them. I kind of figured that about my age, which was one of the options. Yeah. There were 3, as you mentioned. How old do you feel? About my age, several years younger, several years older. I kind of felt it would be one of the other two, like the younger or older. Then most people don't feel like they are what they are.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised it is as close it is all the way through here.
How much have your habits changed since you were, let's say, college aged? I was just talking about this with Carol Daniel out in the newsroom, and like I'm like going through all the list of things. Like I do all the same things now I did when I was 20. Nothing's changed. Sports, music, like nothing. I've not changed in the things that I like or the things that I do. I'm not as good at some things that I used to do because I'm older and can't do them, but I still do them.
Here's how I can tell I've gotten older. For the first time in my life, I really appreciate nice dishes.
Okay.
Well, there you go. There's another reason why I haven't aged.
There it is.
Because to me, paper plates are better because then I don't have to clean them.
That's so. What a you're God! You could not be more right.
You like good dishes?
No, I'm not. Not her.
I'm right.
I don't have nice dishes.
What's there to appreciate about them?
Like if it's a nicer, pretty dish, I'm like, oh, because my mom would always have nice dishes. You know, like, and you know how like grandmas bring out the nice dishes?
Yeah, the fine china.
The fine china. I don't have any, but now I get it.
When I was at my buddy's house in Providence, left there yesterday, he had the nicest spoons. They were so nice.
That's an old
I'm
person.
like, wow, look at this spoon.
I have never seen a spoon and I'm like, man, that's a really
It
nice
was my
spoon.
first time too, Kevin. You'll have no idea when it
What made them
happens
so
to
nice?
you. It was like they were, I don't know what they were made of. They were black and they were really solid, firm, and
Yes.
sturdy.
Yeah.
And they had this cool shape to
Yep.
them.
Like kind of like a little bit more concave than normal. A little
Not exactly
square.
that, but it was more circular than normal.
Oh.
And they were very heavy, so you knew they were of good quality.
Yes.
Or
The
lead.
weight.
I
You
don't
like
know.
the weight of a
The
spoon.
weight of a spoon. It was just so
Yeah.
satisfying.
Yeah.
You know how you have an old mentality?
This.
Yeah, you think about things like this.
That's the only difference between me when I was 18 and me now is I'm like, this is a nice
Well, that's
dish.
how I think that's just how good the spoon in the dish was that I noticed it. I went, wow, check out this spoon.
Stephen A. Smith will be our guest when we come back here on the show.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends at Zero Res. So, heading into the end of the Cardinal season and postseason, hopefully this goes a long way. Fall and Halloween and Thanksgiving, and we're not that far away from the winter holidays and Christmas and New Year's and all that stuff. I say this to say that you're probably going to be spending a lot more time inside than you do during the summer. Kids certainly are. You're going to be having people over to watch playoff games and trick or treat and Thanksgiving and the whole bit. You want to make sure that your home is as clean and beautiful and presentable and welcoming and hygienic as possible. So Zero Res is making it easy for you. Do 3 rooms of Zero Res carpet cleaning for $129. Take $75 off of your air duct cleaning. They're going to make sure that everything is clean and hygienic and beautiful and make you look good. Call 314-474-2020 or ZeroResSTL.com.
The Musial Awards return to Stiefel Theater this fall. You can be in the audience for this nationally televised event Saturday, November 19th. Named for Stan the Man, the awards celebrate those who embody extraordinary sportsmanship. Come walk the red carpet and experience the most inspiring night in sports. It's a show you don't want to miss and a perfect way to kick off the holiday season. The Musial Awards, presented by Maryville University, Saturday, November 19th. Tickets at musialawards.com.
Yes, with inflation, interest rate increases, and a possible recession looming, we are no doubt facing uncertain times in the housing market. But as a realtor with over 20 years of experience, I can tell you, if you're thinking of selling your home, now more than ever, you need a realtor to help you through these times while saving you money. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty, and we offer all of this for only 4%. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444.
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Hi, this is Charlie Brendan. Do you have a home or a business made out of stone or brick? If so, listen up, because Morelli Tuck Pointing is the masonry specialist, serving St. Louis for 31 years. Morelli Tuck Pointing can work on completely solid houses and buildings, spot pointing with color match, brick and stone repair, foundation repair, walkways, porches. This time of year, people notice that their patios are somewhat cattywampus and those bricks need realignment. How about caulking, waterproofing? Morelli is a family-owned and operated business. Longtime employees there feel like family. And of course, everyone at Morelli is very proud to be a recipient of the Better Business Bureau Torch Award, which is only given to local companies with exceptional customer service. Today, you can call to request a free and quick estimate at 314-645-1387. When it comes to bricks and stone, go to the best. Morelli Tuck Pointing at MorelliTuckPointing.com.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 1 o'clock, it's a sunny sky and 71 degrees now downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour. It's life without parole for DeJuan Ferguson, the St. Louis County father found guilty of first-degree murder in the death of his disabled 9-year-old son, Christian. KMOX's Brad Choate is live in the newsroom with reaction. Brad?
Michael, I caught up with St. Louis County Prosecutor Wesley Bell just minutes ago.
If there's reincarnation, he will be locked up again. He's not getting out. He will never see the light of day, given consecutive life sentences, not only in this case, but also in the sex assault case where he molested his stepdaughter.
Bell says the boy's mother, Theda, came to him when he was elected and asked that prosecutors and investigators take a fresh look at her son's case. He says the verdict and sentencing proves Theda was right all along about the defendant. As for Theda, she tells me she'll continue helping others who feel like the justice system is letting them down. Live in the newsroom, Brad Choate, KMOX News.
Evacuations at a Chewy.com warehouse in Belton, Missouri today. Police had received calls of an active shooter, but the Kansas City Star has just reported that officers have cleared 2 buildings and found no victims. Hurricane Ian is expected to upgrade to a Category 4 before making landfall as soon as tomorrow. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says the best way to stay safe is to heed evacuation warnings.
Those orders, I think, are not taken lightly. I think that that's what is the best to keep you safe. And you don't need to evacuate to another state. You don't need to evacuate hundreds of miles away. The key is to get to high ground and be in a safe structure.
A longtime firebrand in the St. Louis Police Union is out. Business manager Jeff Rorda, KMOX's Kevin Killeen, has the latest.
What might have been Jeff Rorda's most infamous moment came at a crowded police reform hearing at St. Louis City Hall. The crowd already tense, and Rorda arrived wearing a badge or bracelet in support of Darren Wilson. Wilson, the officer who shot and killed Michael Brown in Ferguson. The police union is not saying exactly why it parted company with Rorda now, while police negotiations for pay hikes are underway, only that it was time to move in a new direction. And Rorda said in a statement he believes he was given the boot to appease Mayor Tashara Jones.
Drug makers south of the border luring young people with rainbow fentanyl.
It's basically a marketing ploy by these drug trafficking organizations and Mexican cartels to appeal to a younger audience and market these drugs, this dangerous drug called fentanyl.
DEA's Colin Dickey says rainbow fentanyl has made its way to St. Louis. Although he wouldn't give specifics about local cases, he did say they found it in 21 states so far. The First Mid Bank and Trust Business Desk. Americans are feeling better about the economy. Details from Jason Brooks.
The Conference Board's consumer confidence reading in September rose more than expected to a level of 108, its highest reading in 5 months, with the board saying consumers were helped by strong job and wage growth along with declining gas prices. The expectations index improved from summer lows, but recession fears still persist, and the improved confidence from falling pump prices may weaken as gas prices have rebounded higher in the past 2 weeks.
More consumers are planning to buy autos and appliances, but home buying plans fell from the previous month due to soaring mortgage rates. The Dow from Stifel is down 216 points to 29,043. And we've got a stalled vehicle 270 south of 370 in the right lane. Another one 70 east past Cave Springs Truman. That's in the left lane. And 270 north at Gravois on the right shoulder.
A spectacular afternoon of weather across St. Louis. Lots of sunshine. 72 for the high. Low humidity. Tonight, clear and chilly. 60s for evening plans. 42 for the low. On Wednesday, sunny. Wednesday's the coolest day of the week. 68. Down to 40 on Wednesday night. Thursday, Friday, sunshine and close to 70. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray for the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
It's a sunny sky, 70 Florissant, 72 St. Peter's, 71 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Sponsored by Mosby Building Arts.
Mosby Building Arts here, talking about everyone's favorite room in the house, the kitchen. If you love to host parties but are embarrassed by your awful-looking kitchen, our super talented team can design a kitchen you'll be proud to show off. Visit callmosby.com to get started today.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444.
Back in on the show on a Tuesday. Chris Ranji, Amy Marks Kors, and Kevin Wheeler with you. There's a new podcast launch this week. It's an Odyssey podcast, and you can, of course, get it on the Odyssey app and anywhere podcasts are located. But the new podcast belongs to Stephen A. Smith from ESPN. And, of course, it's called the No Mercy Podcast, spelled K-N-O-W, No Mercy Podcast. Well, we had a chance here in the last couple of days to catch up with Stephen A. to talk about this project. Look, Stephen A. has made his name in sports. He's been known for the hot takes. He's been known to have very strong opinions. And, of course, all of that up until now has been in the sports world, whether it's going back to his time as a basketball writer at the Philadelphia Inquirer. We know him better from his career at ESPN and as the host of First Take. Well, with the No Mercy podcast, he's going to be branching out a little bit and going outside of sports. And, of course, something that, Ranj and I have done here on the show since putting all of this together, the three of us, to obviously a little bit of everything. And, coming from a sports world, it's been a lot of fun. I mean, it's been a lot of fun to have new things to talk about. And that's kind of the first thing we asked Stephen A. about is whether or not he thinks it's kind of cool to be able to branch out.
Well, it remains to be seen how cool it is. You guys have been doing it. I'm just about to do it. So we got to take that into consideration. But I would tell you I'm incredibly excited because I've got an opportunity to, chart my own path, so to speak. I've been doing sports for decades. I've been blessed enough to be very, very successful at it. But I've always had my eyes on other things. And I don't ever want to leave the world of sports because I'm synonymous with it. It's what I've done. It's what I love. I still love going to games. I still love watching games. I still love talking about the games and the people that participate in them in some capacity. But what I don't want to do is limit myself to just it. I don't want it to be all that there is to my life. I've always had an aspiration to venture beyond that, to talk about politics, to talk about news, to talk about current affairs, entertainment, and pop culture. I don't want any limitations. I don't want any parameters or any borders where I'm restricted from crossing. And so the opportunity to do this where I'm owning my own podcast production company, I'm in 100% control of content, that I get to do what I want to do and touch on any issues that I want to touch on, was incredibly important to me. And I'm grateful for Cadence for partnering with me. And I'm grateful for ESPN and specifically President Jimmy Pitaro for allowing me to do that.
Because I feel like we might be like-minded. Actually, Kevin, too. We're all kind of like-minded in the sense that you hate having people tell you to stick to sports when you are talking about or taking a position that they don't agree with, because it's always that. It's always people who don't agree with you who tell you to stick to sports. So it's nice to have a platform where you can do that and you can say, I don't have to stick to sports this time.
Well, that's one way to put it. The other way is to tell them to kiss you. You know what? You know how that goes.
Well, yes. I think I've done that too.
Like, we have a problem in our society, and the problem is that if I don't agree with you, you're stupid, you're ignorant, you're somebody who should be silenced, cancer culture, and all of this other stuff in between. Whatever happened to having a conversation? Your ideas up against mine, your vision, your purview up against mine. We have a conversation, we agree to disagree, and we move on. Or we might enlighten one another in some way, shape, form, or fashion that we may not have known. What about that? What happened to that? That's something that we used to be able to do that helped society become somewhat better at one point in time or another. And somehow, some way, that's going the wayside. And I think that when you talk about having a podcast and you talk about having the ability to communicate with the masses, assuming you're popular enough to draw the masses to whatever you're doing, and you're enlightening them, you're allowing them to enlighten you, and you're engaging in conversations and bantering about what you believe and what you feel and why on a case-by-case basis, I think it could be very, very compelling and interesting. And I'm excited for the challenge of having to make that interesting for somebody else.
Stephen A., you asked that question. What happened to that? What happened to being able to talk about your differences at least? What do you think happened to that?
I think the politicians have really, really messed up our country. And the reason why I say that, it's not to say that they're entirely to blame, guys. Here's the thing. This is what everybody needs to understand about a politician. You literally sit on Capitol Hill with direct power to influence and compromise the lives of 350 million Americans. And when you have people who feel somewhat powerless, it's going to create problems. Take an election, for example, guys. Somebody wins the popular vote, and you have people who believe, they won the popular vote. They won the popular vote. They should be in office. Well, when it comes to the presidency, there's something called the electoral college vote. That has to be taken into consideration as well. So you played the popularity game. You didn't play the electoral college game. And as a result, you have both sides claiming the other's illegitimate. We see the former president claiming that the elections were illegitimate, but we hear former politicians who were on Capitol Hills on the liberal side swearing that the modern day court is illegitimate. Okay. And so when you see stuff like that transpiring, okay, and you're going at it, you're calling each other's names, you're accusing one another of lying, you're swearing that neither has the best interest of the company in their hearts and minds, et cetera, et cetera. Well, then how the hell is anybody below them supposed to be able to say, okay, this is what we should be doing, and think that you're going to be able to govern people peacefully? People are going to be in an uproar because their lives are being manipulated and compromised and messed with. And when you have that going on and everybody is all haphazard and opinions and thoughts and everything else in between is all over the place, that's chaos. And anytime you have that level of chaos, you're not going to get peace and tranquility. You're going to get chaos. And that's going to come in a lot of different shapes, forms, and sizes. And it's going to, materialize in a fashion that you see our country being in as it pertains to the state that we're in right now.
Stephen A. Smith is with us. You can find him on Twitter at Stephen A. Smith. Of course, you know him from ESPN and First Take and all of the great work at the Worldwide Leader over the years. But his new podcast is called No Mercy, and you can find it at No Mercy Pod on Twitter and Instagram. And I want to follow up, Stephen A., because you're not unfamiliar with debate, and you're talking about us having, all of us, not just the three of us, but all of us having conversations. Do you think the No Mercy podcast has a bit of that debate format, or are you going to kind of go away from that?
That won't be a debate format. You'll hear me giving my opinions and monologues and closing remarks. You'll see me doing a plethora of interviews along the way, talking with everybody from Snoop Dogg, LL, to Sean Hannity, to Chris Cuomo, and Areva Martin, and various other folks in between. You'll hear me talking, going around talking to anybody that wants to talk to me. It'll be a conversation. It'll be something that people are letting you know where they stand, what their thoughts may be on a particular issue, and et cetera, et cetera. It won't be just news. It won't be just sports. It won't just be current affairs. It won't just be pop culture and entertainment. It will touch the whole gamut. And from day to day, I'll be doing 3 podcasts a week for at least an hour for each podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You don't know what issue I'm going to get into, but at some point, you'll see that I'm getting into everything, and I'm striving to talk to everybody and anybody. And because of that, hopefully, it will invite folks to listen. I think when we see some of the more successful podcasts that exist in this world, one of the things that I applaud, like, for example, I'm a huge fan of Joe Rogan and what he's been able to do with his podcast. That is, I'm not talking about the guests that he has. I'm not talking about the subjects that he's tackled or the opinions that he's spewed. What I love about his podcast is that, guess what? You don't know who's going to be on it. You just know he's going to be there. And that's kind of how I like people to look at me. When you see me on First Take, you don't know who's going to be on First Take from day to day. You just know I'm going to be there. And that's incredibly important. And so that's how I want my podcast to be, where you know that you can depend on me to be me and to deliver what I deliver. And I hope that magnetizes the audience enough where they'll watch and they'll listen, and they'll come see me and they'll come talk to me.
Stephen A. Smith is our guest. You'll find Stephen A. on Twitter at Stephen A. Smith. His new podcast is the No Mercy Podcast, at No Mercy Pod on Twitter, KNOW if you want to spell it right. We've got more with Stephen A. coming your way next here on the show.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to KMOX for all the news, sports, talk, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
Chad here with ClaymanGroup.com, KLAMEN Group.com, where we buy property as is. For those of you not paying attention, the market is changing and prices aren't continuing to rise. If you've thought about selling your house in the past few years, now is the time before the market changes even more. I'm here to make you a cash offer and a quick close on your timeline. 314-946-9999, 314-946-9999. Call today for an as-is offer. ClaymanGroup.com.
Disasters, floods, crisis. These events can take a toll on your health. Stress, anxiety, and other symptoms are common reactions after a disaster. Show Me Hope, Missouri's crisis counseling program, has free and confidential support for anyone impacted by the severe floods that struck St. Louis in July. Our disaster distress helpline provides immediate crisis counseling. Visit moshowmehope.org to get connected to local providers. Brought to you by the Missouri Department of Mental Health.
Not all windows are created equal. See things more clearly with an STL Windows Direct window. Compare the difference at STLWindowsDirect.com. STLWindowsDirect.com.
STL Windows Direct.
It's easy to think all money managers are pretty much the same, but at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different? How? You sell high commission investment products, right?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission-based investment products.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
Nope, never at Fisher. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in our client's best interest. It's the highest standard of care for a financial advisor.
How do you know what's in their best interest?
We get to know our clients and then tailor a portfolio based on their goals and needs.
But you probably sneak in some hidden and layered fees.
No, we have one transparent management fee, structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, you really do look out for your clients.
That's because our top priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. It might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments and securities involve the risk of loss.
An important message from SNL Coins Gold and Silver buyers. SNL Coins Gold and Silver buyers pays top dollar for your gold and silver coins, old currency, diamonds, gold-filled jewelry, scrap gold and silver. Get a quote with a call to SNL 544-3600, SNL Coins 544-3600, or visit SNL 9300 Gravois just east of Mackenzie, 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 Saturday. Before you sell, call SNL 544-3600.
Find the perfect gift at Petals Patio and Garden. Explore new inventory of colorful hand-thrown pottery from London's Royal Botanic Gardens. Kew bearing the royal crest. Shop houseplants, boxwood balls, garden tools and accessories, coffee table books, soaps, candles, and select wines and spirits. Shop local at Petals Patio for quality and service, nationwide shipping, complimentary gift wrapping, and curbside carryout. Petals Patio and Garden, 9757 Clayton Road in the Ladue Marketplace. Online at pedalspatio.com.
Tom Ackerman for Building Community with Busey Bank, a podcast series easily accessible at KMOX.com/community banking. This summer, the Little Bit Foundation lost their huge warehouse and headquarters in the flood. It's both a heartbreaking and inspirational story with Busey and the community helping. Listen to our September podcast, Building Community with Busey Bank, at KMOX.com/community banking.
What started as a small, dedicated group helping a handful of nonprofits has blossomed into a movement that addresses the needs of our entire region. 100 years later, this movement is woven into the fabric of this community, a movement rooted in collectively helping each other, transforming lives, and making the St. Louis region a better place. That is the United Way. Learn more. HelpingPeople.org.
The voice of St. Louis. News that matters to you. KMOX.
Stephen A. Smith is our guest here on the show on a Tuesday. Chris Ranji, Amy Marks, Kevin Wheeler with you here. And, of course, Ranj and I caught up with Stephen A. Smith late last week while Amy was on vacation, which is why you're not hearing Amy's voice is part of the interview. Stephen A. has launched the new podcast this week called the No Mercy Podcast at No Mercy Pod on Twitter. That's KNOW for the right one. Of course, if you just go to at Stephen A. Smith on Twitter, you'll find it linked there as well. Now, the next thing we dive into is politics. And Raj and I made the note that things are a little bit more fun when you don't have to get into the political world too much.
We're like, let's get into
Absolutely.
politics, but let's not talk about it. That's what we decided to do.
I will tell you that's your prerogative. I don't blame you one bit because it can demoralize you if you talk about it too much. But what I mean when I say politics, I'm not talking actual legislation on Capitol Hill all the time. You might be talking Roe v. Wade 1 minute. You might be talking gun control another. You might be talking, and when you're talking about gun control, it's something you might mention in passing, but you're talking about what's going on in the streets. You're talking about, a guy that's in his 70s that stabbed somebody to death, a felon that attacked him at a deli in New York City, and he was the one thrown in jail. Stuff like that. I mean, you might find yourself talking about it, and even though it's not fun, it's real life issues to sort of highlight and illuminate things that need to have attention brought to it so we can address it with the fervor that it deserves and get us back to being more civilized than we seem to have been in recent memory. Some of the things going on throughout the streets of America right now, it's very, very alarming. It scares the living hell out of you. The homelessness that's taking place. I'm in LA right now, just for a few days. There's homelessness on every damn corner, it seems like, for crying out loud. But we got a governor out here running for, campaigning in Florida because he's getting set to run for president. It's like, wait a minute, don't you see what the hell's going on in your own backyard? Can you fix this up first? Can you do something about that? It's just the kind of thing that you see, and it's interesting and compelling subject. So when I say politics, I don't literally mean policy all the time.
Right.
I'm just saying there's always something that's going on in the real world that you feel compelled to address and attack because silence is not an option.
I mean, there have been a lot of political / social issues that have been, sports. Sports have been like that forever. I mean, people have always said, stop putting politics into sports, but there really isn't a time in history where you can say politics and sports have been completely separate. But is there for you, was there, and I know you want to talk about a lot of things and it's open and you never know who you're going to have on as a guest, but is there one area in particular where you have been feeling for years like, I wish this is something I had a platform where I could tackle this?
Easily for me, it's black on black crime. And I can tell you that that's not just literal, it's figurative. And what I mean by that, you can talk about murders in the streets of Chicago and St. Louis. You can talk about the lack of education in the city of Baltimore. You can talk about things like that. But what about the fact that when you come up with a solution or you feel that you're siding with something that the vast majority of Black Americans might not believe that's the way to go, all of a sudden you're a sellout and you're not down for your people just because you want to explore whether or not there's a different way to do it than the predictable way, etc. One of the things that I do, again, not really trying to get into politics, but talking about a bigger issue. When I talk to people about, for example, not being so transparent when it comes to your support of the Democratic Party, well, why would I bring that up? I voted Democrat more than 95% of the time in my life. Okay, let me be very, very clear about that. But I never advertise it. Why? Because guess what? When I go to buy a house, I don't buy it blindly. I walk in, I inspect it, I see it. I want to hear your offer. Let me get a counter offer. Let me get a couple of offers there. Let me see what I want to do. If I buy a car, I test drive it. Anything that I do, I'm going to look for it. I'm going to investigate it. I'm going to explore it before I invest my money into it. Well, the same should be applicable to anything that I'm doing. That's always been my mentality. And anytime you're transparent, to me, you're disenfranchising yourself because, from a political perspective, if you're so flagrant in support of one party, well, okay, that party doesn't have to work for your vote because they know they're going to get it. The other party knows that they're not going to get your vote, so they don't give a damn about trying to cater to you. And then as a result, nobody is really representing you. And that's how you become disenfranchised, all because you refuse to do what a lot of people are wise enough to do. And that's sit back and say, show me what you got. What are you offering before you get my support? And we can use that from a political point of view, but we can transcend it to the world of business and beyond and make the salient point that let's be smarter in terms of our strategy so we can ultimately get what we want, not just as a community, but as a people as a whole, not just Black, but Hispanic, white, Asian American. The list goes on and on. If you're here in the United States of America, how the hell do you get what you want? Let's explore those kind of things. Let's have those kind of conversations. Those are the kind of things that I like to tackle. Those are the kind of things that I think about heavily. And those are the kind of things that's going to make me want to explore what I can do with a podcast because I'm not running from any of those issues.
I'm not sure there's a word in our language that I am so tired of hearing more than divided, because we're constantly talking about how divided we are, and we've been doing this for years now, it feels like. Do you think there's a realistic time or way that we can get past that?
It's hard to see it now. You can hold on to hope. Hope springs eternal, and you want to sincerely hold on to that belief. But based on what we're seeing, it's hard to imagine that that word is going to evaporate anytime in the near future. Look at the kind of things that's transpiring. And I'll tell you a story that I'll tell on my podcast one day, but I don't mind saying it to you right now. So I had to do Sports Center years ago in the nation's capital. And it changed my life forever, what I'm about to tell y'all, as it pertains to politics. 2 individuals, one was on the left, one was on the right. They're no longer in office. I don't remember their names. But they were on CNN fighting so adamantly for their position. You actually heard the people in the studio calling security because they were fearful that these two were going to come to blows. 1 hour later, I'm sitting at the Capitol Grill, and I hear this noise behind me, and they're laughing up a storm, joking around with each other. That was great television, wasn't it? We had them fooled, boy. We had them fooled. You know, and so what I'm saying, if you're the audience, you're siding with one or the other, and that is that. But this is politics that we're talking about here. These were people's lives. And these folks were playing games, and they were doing it on purpose, not thinking about anybody but themselves, not thinking about the collateral damage their bantering may have caused because people are so passionate about some of these issues. They didn't care. And all I thought about was, where are all the suckers? Because looking at them, you would have never thought that they were joking around and just playing a role to make good television so people, while manipulating a bunch of people. You would have never thought that. But that's exactly what the hell happened. And it taught me a very, very, very valuable lesson, because throughout our lives, we're always hearing about folks lying to us, pretending to feel one way, but doing another, thinking another behind closed doors, et cetera, et cetera. I pay attention to those things now more than ever before. And I did ever since that day. And those are the kind of things that I think about. So when you say divide, the reason why I find it hard to believe that that's ever going to be eviscerated is because it's pretty hard to get rid of when you have participants literally trying to divide you on purpose and being given platforms to pull that off. It's pretty difficult.
It's a great story, man, and we've talked a lot about that dynamic ourselves. I'm looking forward to hearing more of your takes on that during the No Mercy pod. Looking forward to catching up with it when everything goes, Stephen A. Congratulations on getting it done. We're looking forward to checking it out on a weekly basis. Thanks for doing this, man. You take it easy in the meantime, and get ready, man. Get your gloves ready, because you're going to have some fights coming your way here in the not-too-distant future.
No, I'm built for it. It's no problem. Thank y'all so much for having me.
Stephen A. Smith. Again, Ranj and I had a chance to speak with him late last week, the launch of his podcast this week. It's called No Mercy, KNOW, Mercy Pod. If you want to find him on Twitter, Stephen A. Smith on Twitter as well. All right, stick around. Changing gears a little bit when we come back on the show.
There aren't many things I'm good at, but I was born with a talent for start. It's like the difference between poking someone with your finger a little bit and punching them as hard as you can. And that is what it feels like in the world where everyone is just rearing back and throwing haymakers so that 18 people will like their tweet, and there's a possibility it goes viral because I was so mean or I was so this or so that. And personally, it just kind of like, ugh.
A little snark and a whole lot more. The Dave Glover Show, weekdays at 2 on KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at ThrottleNet. These are the genius IT guys that I've been representing for years and years now. We are number one all the time. Best in customer service from Small Business Monthly. Best in cybersecurity, again, Small Business Monthly. We have an average response time. I love this statistic. The average response time in St. Louis in 2020 by IT companies. You have a problem, you reach out to them, hey, I'm all shut down, help me, was 3 hours. If you got back within 3 hours, you were cool. Ours was 1 minute, 57 seconds, and the guys were very unhappy with that. It takes less than 2 minutes for us to address your problems. Here's a huge thing. We are now offering $500,000 in ransom protection to everyone who uses us. This is part of the deal. You don't pay extra for it. So if you happen to be hit, and you have to pay, we're going to pay it up to $500,000. Now, this shows you how confident we are because no one under our protection has ever had to pay. Go to throttlenet.com/DGS.
1:30, sunny sky, 72 degrees downtown at the Arch. DeJuan Ferguson has been sentenced to life in prison without parole after being found guilty in the death of his 9-year-old son, Christian, who disappeared in June 2003. Hurricane Ian is making its way northwest toward Florida, picking up strength. President Biden spoke about the federal resources at work before the storm even arrives.
Already deployed 700 personnel to Florida, and the governor has activated 5,000 state National Guard with another 2,000 guards coming from other states.
Florida's already being hit with the outer bands of rain from Ian, which could become a Category 4 storm before it comes ashore. United Airlines flight attendants picketed outside of Boston Logan International Airport today to demand United address what they described as ongoing operational disruptions and focus on labor relations that support people on the front lines. Andrew Fahey heads a local chapter of the union.
I hope it gets us to where we need to be so we can get our passengers where they need to be.
We've got a stall 270 south at 370 on the right side. Stall 70 east past Cave Springs Truman. That's got the left lane there closed. And the forecast from Dave Murray, sponsored by Metro Transit. Plenty of sunshine today with a high of 72. A clear sky overnight, the low 42. Tomorrow sunny and cool with a high of 65 to 70 degrees. Hey, mechanics, quick question. You getting paid what you're worth? No, you can change that. Metro Transit is now hiring mechanics, starting pay over $30 an hour, full benefits, 401k, starting bonuses, and more. Visit workatmetrostl.com today and get your worth. It's sunny and 72 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Hi, it's Debbie Monterey, and I see clearly thanks to Doctors Birdie and Malhotra. You can too. Go to youridoc.com today or call 314-966-5000.
Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE and frustrated taking pills that don't work, Paramount Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that effectively treat your problem. 98% of patients experience immediate results during their first office visit. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Brown. The physicians at Paramount Men's Medical Center offer the most advanced treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Guys, to eliminate your frustration in the bedroom, call Paramount Men's Medical Center now to take advantage of this exclusive limited-time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free, and you'll see instant results right in the office. Call now, 314-720-8081. 314-720-8081. That's 314-720-8081.
Goodwill and St. Louis Union Station have teamed up to take you under the sea and over St. Louis. When you donate a car, running or not, you can receive 4 tickets to the St. Louis Union Station's aquarium and wheel. Donating a car to Goodwill is quick and easy, and towing is free. Plus, you'll get a good feeling from donating to a charity that does so much in our community. For more information, visit mersgoodwill.org.
Is your bank, brokerage, or your insurance company telling you to buy an annuity? They may have limited access to the best rates available. You need solutions, not someone pitching you a specific product. Call for your complimentary retirement and income book at 844-513-SAFE. That's 844-513-7233. And also join me, Ben Coons, for the Retirement and Income Radio Show, heard here every Saturday at 3 p.m. on KMOX Radio.
What's more important than profit? At Easter Fence Deck and Renovations, our family name is, you, our customers and friends are. A job well done and doing what's right is more important than profit. Hi, I'm Chuck Easter. In business for over 60 years, we've not lost sight of the fact that a good name is more desirable than great riches. When the Easter name is on your fence, deck, or sunroom, you know it was done right with integrity, pride, and great care. Our focus is on you, not our bottom line. Call 314-892-8500 or easterfence.com.
KMOX is Cardinals Radio.
Get ready for the Cards and Brewers tonight. Ameren pregame show 5:45. First pitch 6:40. Hear the game on KMOX and streaming on KMOX.com.
Right back in on the show, 135. Chris Ranji, Amy Mark scores, Kevin Wheeler here. Yesterday, Ranj, Amy and I were talking about it. Actually, it was a conversation that branched off of childhood obesity. We're just talking about the way kids are raised differently now compared to previous generations. So more time indoors, less time outdoors, Yes, of course, the eating habits, the food, and all that have changed. But then we got into like an offshoot of that conversation about how different like our worlds were as kids, where we would play more because you had fewer things at home, right? You didn't have the detailed kind of video games. You didn't have your smartphone.
You didn't have the smartphone and social media and all of that.
I mean, we had cable TV and VCRs, and I had video games too.
Yeah.
But as a kid, I was never home in the summertime. I was gone.
You couldn't used to be able to take your video games with you. I mean, you had a Game Boy, but that's not the same as like having a phone on you
we didn't
at
have
all
Game
times.
Boys in the 70s and 80s.
I guess you didn't.
Now
That's right. I did.
I know cable was invented, but we didn't have cable until I was 17. So as a kid, we never had cable, and we also didn't have Nintendo,
right?
Which is what it was.
So NES, come on.
So we got off on the topic of how much freedom kids have had and how much it's changed each generation moving forward since then. Like the freedom my dad had was insane. He could go from suburban Detroit to downtown Detroit on his bike, and he did it all the time. I didn't quite do that growing up, but I mean, I would leave in the morning and come home at dinner time, and my parents had no idea where I was, how far I was from home, none of that. But what started to change all of that was the abduction stories, right? In the 70s and 80s, it became a big thing. And then it made me think of this. I didn't have the audio yesterday, but do you remember this at all, Ranch?
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
That used to play on TV all the time.
We used to say it all the time. It was Julius Hunter and Larry Connors, and it was like that era of local news. And they would say, it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are?
Do you know what's
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
What's weird about it is I feel like I remember it more of like in a mocking way, where people would mock it, where people would, make jokes about it, like it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your kids are? As part of a bigger joke. But I can't think of a time that I actually heard it on a newscast.
I heard.
I can't.
Listen, Ron,
I don't know why, but I can't think of it.
Now, I'm a little bit older, so that's maybe why I remember the late 70s, early 80s more. This would play like at the top of the hour at 9 or 10 o'clock at night in between shows. So it'd be like leading into a commercial break or leading into the evening news. And there was another version of it too. It was like it's 10 o'clock. It's not do you know where your children are, or do you know what your children are watching? So there was like a couple of different ones. But that leads into that paranoia that we're talking about. Like they were scaring people so much with that coverage, even though statistically it wasn't happening at a rate where every kid was in danger.
But then in the 80s, it felt like kids were being kidnapped left and right.
That was the way it felt, right?
Yeah.
It did, I think, because of the high-profile case of Adam Walsh, the one that everybody and whose dad is now
the security commercial guy.
Yeah, and America's Most Wanted, the host of that show. And having him, I believe they were at a Sears or a JCPenney's. It was something like that. And the kid was with the parents, and he just disappeared because somebody grabbed him, took him, and killed him and decapitated him. And it was the violent nature of it. I remember being a kid. So I was, I think, 5 when that happened. Parents, at least mine, and I think most parents, you were at least aware of that. Everybody, there was such a horrific thing to happen that you never heard of happening before. Everybody was a little on edge because of it. And I believe we talked about this before, but I recall even getting my fingerprints taken. There was a national database for.
I remember
the panic. Seriously, though, outweighed the reality of the situation.
Of course, it always does.
And but look at how much it changed the subsequent generations. If you track from my childhood, late 70s, early 80s, each generation forward has been more and more cooped up, less and less free, more and more shuttled around and scheduled and all of that. And I believe it started with that. It started with this constant reminder that your kids are in danger. And what's interesting is yesterday we talked about this, and I didn't know we were doing this. I didn't have it in my head when it came up on the show yesterday. But last night, my wife and I watched the movie The Black Phone, which is set in the 70s. And it's about a guy that is a serial killer. He catches kids and pulls them off the street and takes them to his place, and they end up never coming back. They don't show any of this stuff. But it's the story of one kid, and I won't go into the plot any more than that. But it could not have reminded me more of what that time period was like. Like that whole town was in a panic because in this case, it would have been more realistic to panic. It was like 5 kids disappearing in a very short amount of time. But it caught that spirit of what that was like and how, like, I remember my parents talking to us about it. We had police officers come to our school to explain what you should be looking
John
for.
Mulaney does some of that in his stand-up routine. He talks about stranger danger.
Yeah.
And the sheriff would come to school and tell them about stranger danger. But going back to what you were saying, the free range style parenting, Ranj,
Which was me. I was that.
I asked Kevin about, if there were parents who let their kids do what they did in the, say, 70s, early 80s, would they be reported for negligence? You know what I mean? If you have a young kid,
that's a good question.
who's
Yeah,
running around
maybe
the neighborhood with maybe another kid
Let
or
me
two.
give you an example. So if I'll use mine, okay? Riding around all over let's say you get hit by a car, whatever, 5 miles away from your home,
Mhm.
right? So this is what it'd be. Me riding my bike with my friends out there. No helmet, of course, because nobody wore helmets back then. There was no
Mhm.
safety precautions. You're 5 miles away from home. Your parents have no idea where you are. You're just off there, and you're 10 years old.
Yeah.
Do you think that would be a problem for a parent now?
In a news story, yeah. I think people would go,
Not necessarily
what
criminal,
was that
but
parent doing? Why did they not know where their child was?
Considering parents get blamed for pretty much every child's behavior,
Mm-hmm.
like even when a person becomes later in life a kid, I don't know, commits a crime, becomes a drug addict, it's because the parents screwed up. Well, that's not always true. It's not always
Right.
true that it has something to do with that, though environment has a role to play. You could be as good of a parent
Yes.
as you could possibly be, and the kid still turn out like an idiot.
I feel
that can
very
still
strongly about
happen.
that. Yeah.
it happens.
Right.
And I will say, going back to the hyper scheduling, the over scheduling, I was probably that part of that transition phase
Oh, yeah.
where we would go outside and play, all day long. But my mom kind of always knew where we were. We didn't disappear.
Mine was like that too.
Yeah, she kind of knew where we were, but we never had, quote, play dates. You know how that's a phrase now. Oh, he's got a play date
Yeah, yeah.
at 2. And I know this is for younger kids, but even as a 4-year-old, my mom would never say, we've scheduled a play date. That didn't exist.
You know the movie Stand By Me? Did you see that?
Mhm.
That was us when I was a kid.
Yeah.
We were just wandering. We'd go
Or-
do whatever we want. Nobody was,
Or the Sandlot. I feel like that. where
Yeah.
They would go to the pool, they'd play baseball.
it was not far off of that either. But
Yeah.
because there was a state park near where we lived. It was kind of like right packed up by my best friend's backyard. We'd just be in there. I mean, there was a time it flooded. We were riding an abandoned mattress on the overflowed river.
Ew.
It floated,
it's
man.
like a Tom Sawyer.
Well, it was one of the
Huckleberry
things.
Finn,
It
but
was
it's a
one that was
mattress.
still in the plastic. Like somehow it
Oh.
just got discarded somewhere, and we're like, "Hey, that looks like a raft. Let's
Or
go."
maybe it was used and then discarded
Well,
with somebody put wrap on
I mean,
it
we were
first.
kids and we didn't care, but the point is that it was just so different, and to see the transition to,
Mhm.
you have that panic there about abductions and all of that for a good long period of time, and then every generation since. I'm as guilty of this as anybody, by the way. This is not a pointing fingers. My kid didn't have the freedom like that. I would never have let my kid do what I did. It's ridiculous. I don't know what the psychology of it is, but it's ridiculous.
Yeah. George Washington, our first president, he was a surveyor at the age of 12. I don't know how to survey anything. He was a surveyor at the age of 12. Somehow the ages, we've gotten younger and younger
Oh
as a
yeah.
species.
Well, Joan of Arc led an entire army at 16.
know.
Can you imagine being 16 years old and leading an army?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
No.
again, you were
On my
I don't know.
Xbox.
Then again,
Oh
you would
my
have been
gosh.
Dead at 30
dead
anyway.
if
They
you're
had to
lucky.
live fast back then.
Yeah.
The lifespan, the average age was not that old. But yeah, there's less and less responsibility, it seems like, over the broad scheme of things regarding ages.
Funny how that scare also kind of coincided with the beginning of 24-hour news. And the more things get amplified, the more it alters behavior.
What year did CNN start?
I don't remember. It is late
It was in-
70s, though.
Was it 70s? I thought it was
I
in
had
the 80s.
cable in the early 80s, and it was on there already. I want to say CNN started in 1979.
What I know that the first time, if I'm not mistaken, I do believe the first time any network.
Oh, it was 1980.
1980. Okay. The first time any network went 24-hour news without interrupting was after the Kennedy assassination, right? I believe they went 4 straight days, 24 hours, and they had never really done that before. So that was, and you could tell going back and watching the broadcast, like watching CBS, how they were just kind of, the cameras are rolling and they have no like, oh, I'm going to get up now and this guy's going to come take over. They would actually say that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm getting up and here comes Walter.
At that same time frame, less gravitas to this, but the first...
I know Les Gravitas. Went to high school with him.
Les Gravitas. You used to run CBS. The Gilligan's Island, the first few episodes, the flags that they show in the opening credits are at half-mast. That is because of JFK was assassinated before they switched it.
First of all, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Secondly, I don't remember the opening to it. But that is interesting.
The 3-hour tour, that song. Yeah, but it's only the first few episodes of the first season. The flags are at half-mast, and that was because JFK had been assassinated.
That is kind of an interesting tidbit.
Thank you. I think so.
I liked it.
It is, but I just kind of, how'd we get there?
Because I went to JFK, and then she thought of a JFK thing.
Yeah.
How do you not follow these things?
Yeah.
It's just like a very odd thing.
Yeah,
that
it was
we're
very
talking
easy.
about one thing, and all of a sudden it's Gilligan's Island.
All right, well, I'm going to bring up something that has nothing to do with anything when we come back.
Oh, very nice. Sounds like a good plan.
Because I have a question for you, and I just want to know if you've seen something.
He's Answer Man.
Let's
so.
go.
Maybe you guys talked about it yesterday, and I'm sorry if you did.
Oh, well, we'll find out. A few minutes here on the show.
Why are some people afraid to enjoy their retirement? And why are some people so worried about spending money during their golden years? Maybe it's because they're afraid of running out of money. Maybe they're afraid of depleting their nest egg, either through spending too much or through investment strategies that could result in losses. Hi, my name is Ken Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. Do you have a fear of depleting your savings and running out of money too soon? Let me help put your mind at ease. I can help you create an optimal retirement income distribution strategy that helps to maximize income from your retirement savings and eliminate your fear of running out of money. Call 314-328-4400 today and schedule your complimentary retirement roadmap review with our team. That's 314-328-4400. Again, 314-328-4400.
Heisey Advisory Group provides insurance services. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
The Little Bit Foundation works to eliminate barriers to learning for 14,000 under-resourced students in the St. Louis area. Our vision is that every child has the opportunity to reach their potential and achieve their dreams. Bringing programs and partnerships into school communities, the Little Bit Foundation focuses on a whole child model, addressing essential needs, health and nutrition, wellness and family support, academic equity and enrichment, and college and career readiness. To learn more, go to thelittlebitfoundation.org.
Right now is the perfect time to call Zero Res to deep clean and refresh your carpets, air ducts, upholstery, and more. Call 314-474-2020 to get 3-room Zero Res clean starting at just $129 and take $75 off your air duct cleaning. ZeroResSTL.com.
If you own a house in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is without any inspections or the need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes St. Louis at 314-328-8000. or at chrisbuysHomesSt.Louis.com and get your cash offer without any obligations, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant houses, inherited houses, fixer-uppers, beautiful houses, even the tenant won't pay the rent apartment. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis, and check out the best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to chrisbuyshomesinstlouis.com. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis or call 314-328-8000. That's 314-328-8000. Call Chris and get the offer you've been waiting for. Chris Buys Homes in St. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. or call 314-328-8000.
I'm Brian Westbrook with Coalition Life. Over the past decade, Coalition Life has served thousands of women in crisis pregnancies, helping to save the lives of the children that they carry. Help us build a better community while also reducing or completely eliminating your Missouri taxes with a 70% tax credit. A $1,000 donation today to help these women could cost you as little as $141 out of pocket. Learn more at coalitionlife.com, coalitionlife.com. Thank you.
Diamonds Direct's unbelievable zero-interest finance offer is coming to a close, but you have until this Sunday to take advantage of 5 years zero-interest financing on any purchase. Now more than ever, it's the smartest way to buy. You can get that engagement ring or fabulous piece of designer jewelry and spread your payments over 5 years without paying a dime in interest. This amazing offer is good through this weekend only. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Get all the details, including special Sunday hours, at diamondsdirect.com on approved credit.
Carol Daniel here. Leslie Gill, president of Rung for Women, addresses the gender wage gap in our latest episode of PNC C-Speak, the language of executives. She advises employers to stop asking applicants for their previous salary and post the range. PNC C-Speak provides digital storytelling from a C-level perspective on relevant, forward-thinking business approaches. Listen to our 14-minute podcast with Leslie Gill at KMOX.com/PNC C-Speak. PNC C-Speak, the language of executives.
Transform your home into the most beautiful home in your neighborhood with Banner Construction, St. Louis's premier James Hardy and Pella window expert. Add curb appeal and value to your home by calling Banner Construction 314-569-1050.
Join the Foundation Fighting Blindness at the St. Louis Vision Walk on Saturday, October 1st at Creve Coeur Lake Park to help find cures to diseases that cause blindness. Visit visionwalk.org.
United Way of Greater St. Louis is celebrating a century of helping people in our region with essential needs, early childhood and youth success, health and well-being, jobs and financial mobility, and community stability and crisis response. Find out how you can help our community at helpingpeople.org.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444.
You know that new sound you're looking for? Well, listen to this.
The show on KMOX.
All right, Raj, what's the question?
I was going to ask you something completely different,
I've
but
been
we
counting
were
the minutes.
We were talking about ball hawks at baseball games. So this is people, and there's one guy. I'm not even going to say his name. His full name. His name's Zach. I'm not giving his last name because he wants the attention. This guy's the absolute worst. But he travels to ballparks and he positions himself, and he's like 40, and he positions himself in such a way that when a home run ball is heading, he knows about where a lot of guys hit their home run. So he gets ready for each guy coming up to bat, and then he will run after the ball and a lot of times get in front of people and take the ball away from them, and he's wearing a glove. I hate this guy. I hate him so much. But I love the fact that he had two choices. So either go where Aaron Judge might be approaching 61 or 62 home runs, or go where Albert is as he searches for 700, and he went to he made the wrong pick. He didn't go.
He went to
Toronto.
Okay.
And Albert hit 69 and 70 or 700.
699 and
That's right. And so he hit those home runs, and so he missed out on them. I'm very glad that happened, and I hope he doesn't get to the other one. Do you guys have?
Can I just say, I'm not trying to be a jerk.
Yeah.
If you're grown, don't bring a glove.
I kind of agree with you.
If you're a kid, I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm just saying
I agree with
it's
you.
a really weird look.
I agree with you.
But if you're a kid, do what you want. You want, have fun.
Yeah. How do you feel about that kind of person? I think there are some people who think it's kind of cool that he does it, but I have to imagine most people hate it. So here's the other question, because you brought it up during the break. You were talking about Mike Trout, who has been the best player in baseball for several years.
And one of the nicest guys.
And a very nice guy. He didn't sign somebody's autograph going into a hotel.
Yeah, he's coming out of his hotel. There are two kids standing there, and somebody's videoing it from behind. So I think it's the kid's parent.
So what it was a dude who's using the kids as props to get autographs so he could turn around and sell them.
Yes, that's
terrible.
That's the belief at this point. Yeah.
So what's worse, the ball hawk or the autograph hawk?
Autograph hawk.
Well, it's tough because they're both super annoying, but
Awful.
I gotta say the one that uses kids as props is the worst.
That's brutal. Or the guys, like even the guys who show up with like I don't even know how they get into the ballpark, but like a duffel bag full of memorabilia, and they'll go
That's bad.
2 hours prior to the game and stand right by the dugout and Mr. Trout,
Yeah.
Mr. Trout.
Yeah.
And they're like, come sign my thing. And I hate these people so much.
Yeah.
I hate them.
I don't mind the autograph seekers as long as they're doing it like an adult.
Well, that's the thing.
What
You know what I mean?
But what if you have a book full of cards?
I'm just saying, like if you buy them,
Yeah.
or
They're turning it around to
or
sell it.
or you go to like the winter warm up and you're gonna pay to go get an autograph. That's fine. I think those ones that come in with duffel bags full of stuff. That's a problem.
bad. But also using a kid as a prop, the reason why it's extra bad when both the ball hawk and the autograph hawk using a kid, why the one using the kid is extra bad, because at least with the ball hawk, he's like showing his face and man, you're a terrible person, but at least he's owning it versus throwing a kid
I
out
don't know.
there.
He wants the attention.
They're both bad.
By the way, did you guys see at the Dodgers-Cardinals, the Cardinals game at Dodger Stadium, the creepy people smiling?
Yes.
It's all about the movie.
Awesome.
Yeah. Did you
I
know
can't
that?
wait. I can't wait to see it now.
I know.
Smile. The movie's called Smile.
I would also recommend The Black Phone, by the way. We watched it last night. Actually, really good. Just on that same note of scary stuff. DGS next on the show.
Waiting for the break of day.
At Busey Bank, we understand you have a vision for your future, and we're committed to helping you achieve your dreams. Since 1868, we've invested in recruiting and retaining the best and brightest associates.